write my manifesto, or...
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
So much crazy stuff going on behind the scenes. Now, you guys, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Biden steps down from the nomination, going to release his fucking electors and let them vote for free, I guess. You don't guess it's a contested, it's an open convention, not a contested convention.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage.
Everybody's a mod here.
You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
That's right, Linda. Tell them about it. Tell them to support the show. Bunch of freeloaders around here. What's up, guys? I'm Will. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am your host. A lot of stuff going on. So, I guess the biggest thing is Biden stepped down today, right? He did a press release about stepping down, and people are losing their fucking minds over it. You know, different things going on. So we'll see how that works out. Give me just a second to log in. I'm logged out of some of my accounts. We'll read the statement and go from there. I know that... okay, let's log back in. I know that Kamala Harris has already said, even though there was an official endorsement from Biden in his first statement, she's already stepped forward and said, hey, I'm going to be running. I don't know who she's going to pick for a VP. It seems like that would have to be pretty quick. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. But he basically sent a letter out. So he made a tweet that said, my fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and focus on my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been... Sorry, it's loading the rest of it. And it's been the best decision I made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Now, that was at 2:15 p.m., I think. Something like that. He came out. There's a lot to talk about here, though. Let me read the original statement. Pull it up. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments rebuilding our nation in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. Oh, I need to check. I don't think I updated the Rumble thing, did I? Is Rumble live? Oh, yeah, it is. No, that's the old video. Did I even do Rumble? No. Better finish that. Give me just a second to grab these stupid links. I was in the middle of doing... I guess I was in the middle of setting up a live stream. We just quit. I think I had to run to the store for Mariah. Let's see. Go live. Use template. I want there to be a... record of this, so give me just a second. I think I need a manifesto as the title. Save, public, next. My bad. That was last night's show that was playing. Having an off day, chat. Having an off day. It's a Sunday. Sunday fun day. It's a weird day. This is such a weird election cycle. And all the weird things that are going on, and then Trump fucking giving throwbacks to fucking Q-tards on demand for some reason. Who the fuck knows? He's just keeping that narrative alive. Like his opera song at the end of the RNC and shit like that. Like, obviously he's playing a narrative to Q-tards. Like, he doesn't want to lose them. That's a giant fucking swath of his voter base, right? So he's playing to that. Just weird stuff going on. All right, back. Rumble should be live. Let me make sure. I think I need a manifesto. Hit enter. I just pop the chat out. Refresh. It is live. Okay. Anyways, back to the reading of the document. Lower drug costs, lower prescription drug costs for seniors, and an expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. That was the PACT Act. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We protected and preserved our democracy, and we revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. Now, this comes off him canceling a portion of his campaign. I guess he was out in Las Vegas. He left early because he contracted COVID. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today, what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do. When we do it together, we just have to remember we are the United States of America. Okay? So he sends out this. That came out fucking 8-10 hours ago, right? That came out earlier today. He sends out that, and then much later he does. I don't know if usually if he was going to endorse Kamala and she almost immediately she was going to announce that she was going to do it, she agreed to it, that would be in the announcement. I've lost all respect for you. You're just another asshat that lost your followers. Or you should come to Twitch because I found them all. But you may have lost the respect for me, but I never had any for you. Oh, I work 2 jobs. Thank you very much. You got two full-time jobs. Anyways, usually that would be in the original statement, right? It would be together like, I'm stepping down, but I want to push this on Kamala Harris, basically. But it seems like something else went on, or maybe she just wasn't sure if she was going to run or not. Maybe she wasn't sure if she was going to run or not, and then later decided she was going to, or maybe she originally told him no. But typically, if we're one mind thinking here, it's better to put out, I'm not going to run, and I would like you to support so-and-so, instead of just, I'm not going to run. I don't know. Maybe he's bitter about it. Maybe he didn't want to step down, and the pressure got to be too much. Now, what does this cause? Well, typically, you have a little bit of momentum because you're the incumbent, right? And then you'll have a Donald Trump had a little bit of momentum for the shooting, right? Joe loses the incumbent momentum because of his poor performance, basically on the debate stage. Donald Trump loses his momentum because his fucking divisive speech that he had going, right? Now we're so late in the game, there is going to be no momentum for whoever replaces him. It's better. I think it's better that Kamala replaces him because at least she was on the ticket before, right? It would be a lot weirder if they picked just some random fucking guy. Like, they just picked Gavin Newsom or something that wasn't even part of this. It's hard to say. There's a lot of stuff that's going. I know they'll probably get a lot of donations. They had a lot of people on their own party. I never thought this would have happened, honestly. I think I've said it before. Like, he's not dropping out. He's not dropping out. He's not dropping out. Because it seems so fucking late in the game to me. It seems so late in the game. But it didn't. So that's where we're at. I don't know what Kamala Harris has said. Let's see if we can check her Twitter. And Donald Trump nodding to the fucking Q-tards. Fuck him. Fuck Donald Trump. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. Fuck Donald Trump. He's a real shitbag. Let's see. Kamala Harris. She has a Twitter, right? There it is. Did I misspell it or some shit? On behalf of the American people, I thank Joe Biden for his extraordinary leadership as president of the United States and for his decades of service to our country. I'm honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. So she's not saying like I'm going to take the nomination. It's been handed to me. It's been given to me, but it's I'm going to earn and win this nomination. So I'm pretty sure Joe Biden can't do shit with the delegates at the DNC, right? Just because he's endorsing Kamala, they could vote for fucking Waldo if they wanted to. Basically, he has to release them. And then they can vote for whoever they want. Now, typically, the party kind of, this was probably done behind the scenes. A lot of talks going on saying, we're going to go from here. We're going to move here because we need to win or whatever. Right? We're going to try to show solidarity and support. We're not going to have 15 people pop up at the convention saying, I want to be president. Like, we're going to move and support each other here. And we've got a direction where we're going. I'm not saying that did happen. That was the way it should have happened if they wanted their greatest chance. But hell, maybe this was all off the cuff and Joe just surprised everybody. Who knows? There are a lot of left-leaning people that are going to think this is pretty cool. So I'm sure their donations have went up. I'm sure they've got a lot of support on that end. There's a lot of people calling for him to step down, even some big creators. Again, it just seems really, really, really late in the game for that. Now, the DNC is coming up, what is it, August 19th? August 19th through the 24th. So that'll be when the actual, when they actually declare their candidate, August 19th through the 24th. Oh my God, what happened? Don't save. But I don't know, it seems strange. I know that Kamala Harris, after the VP announcement from Biden, after that happened, Kamala Harris challenged J.D. Vance to a debate, and of course, they declined. They declined. Not that Kamala Harris, not that I think that she's some type of great debater or whatever, but I don't know that J.D. Vance would be either. So yeah, it seems like, man, there's so much going on. This is going to be there's just so much that's went on in this election cycle, and we're not even to it yet. And we're not even fucking to the election yet. Bro, you have 22 subscribers. You have 22 subscribers and 80 fucking videos. You have 22 fucking subscribers. I'll admit, your YouTube channel, all your people are gone. Your YouTube channel's struggling. You admitted it. Really showed me how will I ever recover. Oh, your 22 subscribers coming after me? Are you going to take me on your fucking kayak? Get the fuck out of here. What a useless motherfucker. Anyways, just so much has gone on in this election cycle already. Assassination attempt, the debate, which was a huge debacle, the Project 2025. So much has fucking happened. So much has fucking happened. And now we got to change up with Joe Biden stepping down, Kamala Harris presumably being the nominee. There might be somebody that shows up and is like, hey, I want to fucking, I want to fucking at the convention. Like, I want to throw my name in the hat. And I'm sure there's people like already talking in the background. People that, so it's weird. You don't want to have a negative mark on your name if your party thinks that later you could be a presidential candidate. There are times when they want to use you, and there's times they don't want to use you. So like let's say a Gavin Newsom. A Gavin Newsom, they may not, depending on how the polls are trending, depending on what their analysts think and they predict, they might not want to throw him in against Trump right now, especially after all the stuff that's been going on. because a lot of negative stuff's going to come out. A lot of bad stuff's going to come out. A lot of smear campaigns and a lot of bullshit like that. Maybe stuff that you didn't think would come out, like sex scandals and blah. So there's this idea behind not wasting a candidate, right? Shut the fuck up. If anybody who's qualified to be the vice president is exactly qualified to be the president, you dumb motherfucker. It's the same requirements. Anyway, so that's what's going on. I don't know. It's just been a fucking wild election cycle. Somebody said earlier it makes good TV. That's true. I mean, it's fucking got a lot of drama in it. I've been watching this guy. I just found him today, and I've been kind of binge watching some of his videos. I think that he thinks that possibly the assassination attempt was set up. He seems like he's a smart guy, though, and he's got some really good takes on some stuff. But I think that he thinks the election cycle or that the assassination attempt was set up. And I have not watched this video, so I want to grab it right now and we'll watch it together and see what he says here. This is Dinner Pancakes over on TikTok.
The insurrection against the United States at the beginning of 2021 was a publicly witnessed and well-documented violent attempt at halting one of the core processes of American democracy, and that is the peaceful transition of power. Americans all across the country and people all over the world.
He's a former Marine too. Sorry, I'm making it on a bigger screen.
Watched live video feeds of violent Republican voters beating police officers and damaging public property. And yet, in comment sections all across social media, we are told to reject the evidence of our eyes and ears. We're told that it was not violent, that no one died. We're told that it was peaceful. These statements...
I feel like the world we live in, if your side repeats a certain topic enough times, you just start repeating it.
Contradict reality. These statements are false. Contradictions like these are part of an arsenal of deceptive psychological tactics used to induce people into surrendering their skepticism in exchange.
Dude, the Kamala Harris is not a natural born citizen shit. Just like with Obama, it's just fucking underlying racism, right? They just want to say, like, they don't look like they're American, so they can't be. It was the same thing with fucking Obama, right? It's the same thing with Kamala Harris. If you get somebody that they don't like their skin tone, they're like, man, I don't know if they're born here.
For a false sense of temporary psychological comfort. Liars and frauds use contradictions to perpetuate propaganda to sympathetic audiences. When examining the
he's very calm in most of his videos, including now.
Alleged assassination attempt of a former president of the United States, what happened in Butler with Trump, we have to remember that we are dealing with people who have a long interconnection.
Basically what he's getting at here is like just on January 6th, where they basically told you this didn't happen. Oh, it was an inside job. It was set up by the FBI. They stole Nancy Pelosi's computer because it had deep state secrets on it. They were peaceful. Nobody was injured. Nobody was hurt. They just walked right in. The stuff that they've repeated over and over, denying what we actually saw and knew happened. And they just say it enough times to where we're supposed to accept it, that he wouldn't be quick to believe the story that's coming out about the shooter and shooting.
Connected history of lying and fraud. A strategic contradiction is an explanation for why something happened that causes plausible explanations to appear conspiratorial. By the time analysis of strategic contradictions make their way through public narrative, enough people have attached themselves to that strategic contradiction in bad faith as a rhetorical device to discount people trying to think critically and believe what's plausible instead of what's possible, that the damage to critical public consensus has already been done. The shattered teleprompter glass theory, in particular, provides a type of necessary cognitive off-ramp from critical analysis of the alleged assassination attempt against Trump. If it comes out that during that rally, Trump was actually not struck by a bullet, if we get definitive evidence, the narrative already has a safety line. Oh, it wasn't a bullet? Well, of course not. It was.
Yeah, that's what everybody says to prove they're not racist. I have a black friend. That's the go-to that racists fucking say. Then why the fuck do you doubt that she was born in the U.S.? She has a U.S. birth certificate. Every fucking thing that's ever been written about her was from the U.S. She has friends that she went to fucking school with. She can tell you what hospital she was born in. There's a record there. Why else would she not be born here? Kind of weird, huh? She's a natural born citizen born in the United States.
Glass from the teleprompter. We've seen this tactic in other narratives already, like those surrounding January 6th. Oh, Republican voters stormed the Capitol? No, must have been Democrats in disguise. Must have been
the Antifas.
Must have been paid actors. Given that, let's think about what would have to be true for the shattered teleprompter theory to be true. So if Trump's ear was actually injured by glass from a shattered teleprompter, then something must have caused that teleprompter to shatter.
I saw a picture of him with a much smaller bandage, but I don't think I've seen a clear shot of him without the bandage. I saw one with a little brown bandage, like just around the top of the ear.
A bullet could have shattered a teleprompter, since we know that bullets were fired at the event. It's also plausible that Trump was injured by shattered glass, as most of us know how dangerous shattered glass can be. So it makes sense, glass cut injury. But the plausibility of something changes with new information. You might imagine a chef at a stove whisking up some butter and flour. They add milk and then they add some pepper. Based
it is very common.
Available, it might seem like they're making a white roux or perhaps some white gravy, but if they go to add grated cheese and elbow noodles, that actually suggests they're making macaroni and cheese instead. So we know that bullets were fired. However, there's no evidence that the teleprompter shattered. In fact, multiple credible photos show the teleprompter intact while the Secret Service was on stage with Trump and after the event. So no, shattered teleprompter glass did not injure Trump's ear. But we would be remiss to not recognize the similarities here between the contradictions that we're seeing about the shattered glass and the contradictions we see around January 6th. The insurrection against the United States at the beginning of...
So this is Dinner Pancakes. Obviously, he's explaining why he doesn't trust the system. We'll grab some more of his videos that I haven't seen here. Most of them are a little bit quicker.
I completely think this...
So it says, it would be so awesome if people showed up for independent candidate en masse, though, and pulled the rug out from under the two major parties.
Is possible in the future. I don't think it's possible yet. I think that we find ourselves in a time in human history where technology gives us the impression that things move and change faster than they actually do. That gives us a lot of frustration.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if both of her parents were illegal immigrants and she fell out of her mom's vagina in Hawaii on the beach. It doesn't matter. You don't understand what a naturally born citizen is. They were naturally born on U.S. soil, they're granted citizenship.
When we come up to the very real existential fact that change happens very slowly, one day at a time. So what we can focus on is where we find ourselves now in the present. What part of this human evolution do we find ourselves in?
There's a birth certificate from, I think it's 1964, Oakland, California.
And in this particular time in human evolution, we find ourselves with the opportunity to help people understand that they are being hoodwinked. Not how they're being hoodwinked or how to respond to being hoodwinked, but we are in milestone 1. And milestone 1 is helping people come to terms with the fact that they are being hoodwinked. Once enough people understand that they're being hoodwinked, the next milestone is to help people understand.
It's hard convincing people they've been lied to about it or they've been led astray. You see people in here like this retard saying, oh, well, it doesn't say she's not a natural born citizen. She's not, yeah. Her parents never became citizens. First of all, you're wrong. A natural born citizen. It doesn't matter where she went to when she was 9. She was born here and granted citizenship. The clause states no person except a natural born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall have attained the age of 35 years, who shall not have attained the age of 35 years, and been 14 years a resident within the United States. It doesn't say neither can anybody be here that their parents weren't born here, that their parents were from India or Jamaica or fucking the Philippines. Neither that their parents they moved to Canada when they were 9. You're a fucking retard, dude. Natural born. The only other thing that you could be besides natural born is a legal citizen going through a citizenship process. She never had to do that because she was naturally born here and received citizenship. If she wasn't eligible, then she would have had to go through a citizenship class to become a citizen.
How they're being hoodwinked, to fully understand how they're being hoodwinked. When people understand that they're being hoodwinked and how they're being hoodwinked, then we can have a collective dialogue about why we're being hoodwinked. And a lot of that is going to be predicated on the two-party system. Hi.
What's next? I want to see some. Dude has full-on makeup while he's supposedly working out. This is gaslighting series for the support of the Communist Democratic Party is adorable and sad at the same time. He gets haters. He does a good job addressing them. I'll speed him up some.
But I do think TikTok does something to our faces, and I think that's related to them trying to increase engagement. I think that has something to do with like trying to make my face look more young or whatever and more attractive. But these are beauty standards that I don't live my life by. I actually prefer my crow's feet and blemishes and whatnot. So I'm not wearing makeup. Sorry to disappoint you. Well, I don't wear makeup.
Johnny, catch! Oh, no! Let's tell Mom it was Billy's mistake.
You're making the mistake.
Flint!
Anyone can have an accident, but lying makes it worse.
But Mom will be upset.
She'll be even more upset if you lie. And how would you feel if Billy got punished? Face up to what you've done. Don't take the easy way out.
We'll tell her we did it.
Remember, it's better to tell the truth.
And that's no lie. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, Joe. That's some old school throwback.
When you're Hi, I don't know.
Let's see some of his other stuff. Debunked in a stitch.
Does that clear things up?
No, it doesn't. It actually makes things more difficult to understand.
Does that help? Does that clear things up?
No, it doesn't. It actually makes things more difficult to understand. And that's on purpose because this video is a type of strategic contradiction. It's a type of disinformation. Let's take a closer look. So this video points your attention to Trump's ear right here. Now, the video is being alleged to be a picture of the bullet going through Trump's ear. If you've been paying attention, you'll know right away that something is off about this video. Do you know what that is? It's been flipped. The video has been flipped. That should be your first indication that something's wrong. But do you know why the video is flipped? I'll get to that at the end. Let's take a look at the next picture, which is just a screenshot of a couple frames forward. And then a couple frames forward, we see this black dot growing in his ear, and we see the cartilage moving, so it must be a bullet going through his ear, right? let's actually stay on this photo for a little bit longer, because what's happening here doesn't make sense when you really think about it. Why is this video able to be proliferated among people's minds? Well, it's because it's confirming the biases. It's confirming their bias of the fact that Trump can't have possibly have done anything else but been struck by a bullet. But if you pause and just think a little bit about whether this is plausible or not, everything starts to break down. First thing we know is that when we are holding our phone and watching videos of the rally, the bullet comes from the left, which is Trump's right.
Uh-oh.
The reason that disinformation like this works is because there are parts of it that speak to elements of our brain that are expecting certain things. For example, we are expecting a bullet to come from the left side of our screen when we're thinking about Trump being shot by a bullet. That's actually really important, because this next part doesn't make any sense. A 5.56 round going through the cartilage of the ear from this side of the screen to this side of the screen is not going to cause the cartilage of the ear to swell and bow like that. That's ridiculous. The cartilage impact would be this way if the bullet was actually going this way. But we already know that that doesn't make any sense because this video has been flipped. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you flip it around, doesn't make sense, because if a 5.56 round were to impact cartilage like that, that ear would have been blown open. That cartilage would have been blown open. It doesn't stretch and expand. That part of the ear would have been blown open. This doesn't make any sense. This particular disinformation artifact is also very lazy. It's lazy because the resolution is so poor. Despite all of the cameras that were trained on Trump that day, you're going to tell me that the only definitive proof that we have that a bullet went through Trump's ear is this flipped around, poorly doctored video that doesn't match any other footage that any other credible journalist or news source captured on that day.
Does that help?
So here's a Supreme Court ruling from 1897. I'm sorry, 1898 was when it was ruled on. It says, facts of the case. The Chinese Exclusion Acts denied citizenships to Chinese immigrants. Moreover, by treaty, no Chinese subject in the United States could become a naturalized citizen. Wong Kim Ark was born in San Francisco to parents who were both Chinese citizens who resided in the United States. So they are not U.S. citizens. They're Chinese citizens who resided in the United States at the time that he was born. At age 21, he returned to China to visit his parents who had previously resided in the United States for 20 years. When he returned to the United States, Wong was denied entry on the ground that he was not a citizen. Question: is a child who was born in the United States to Chinese citizen parents who are lawful permanent residents of the United States a U.S. citizen under the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment? Conclusion: because Wong was born in the United States and his parents were not employed in any diplomatic or official capacity under the Emperor of China, that would be like we do when you're in the military or an embassy duty or something. You have a child born abroad. You're under the official diplomatic capacity of the U.S., so you're a U.S. citizen. You can be born at a fucking embassy in Germany and be a U.S. citizen. They were not. The Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment automatically makes him a U.S. citizen. Justice Horace Gray authored the opinion on behalf of the 6-2 majority in which the court established the parameters of the concept known as jus soli, the citizenship of children born in the United States to non-citizens. Justice Joseph McKenna took no part in the consideration of the decision of the case. This has been standing law since 1898. Since 1898, this has been standing law, and people's like, well, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter at all whether her parents were citizens or not, or when they become citizens, or where she moved to, or what happened. You just have to be born in the United States. Eight U.S. Code 1401 says nationals and citizens of the United States at birth. A person born in the United States, it says the following shall be nationals and citizens of the United States at birth. A person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. A person born in the United States to a member of an Indian, Eskimo, Aleutian, or other Aboriginal tribe, provided that they are granting the citizenship. There's a few clauses in here that don't apply to her. Like provided that the granting citizenship under this authority subsection and not, this is about Aborigines. A person born outside the United States and its outlying possessions of parents, both of whom are citizens of the United States, and one of whom has had a residence in the United States or one of its outlying possessions prior to the birth of such person. A person born outside the United States and its outlying possessions of parents, one of whom is a citizen of the United States, who has been physically present in the United States or one of its outlying possessions for a continuous period of 1 year prior to the birth of such person, and the other of whom is a national but not a citizen of the United States. A person born in outlying possession of the United States of parents, one of whom is a citizen of the United States, who has been physically present in the United States. But none of these clauses matter because the first one, a person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Natural born citizen.
Hi. People are sending me a lot of stuff, and I'd like everybody to know that if you see something on TikTok and you go to stitch or do edit and the stitches and duets are turned off and what you're seeing in that video is very difficult to believe or insane if true, ask yourself why you think they have stitches or duets turned off. The likelihood of something being disinformation.
That's true. To hide it.
I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm
So
about.
he's getting a lot of heat for saying he doesn't think Trump was actually over the round. Again, many videos have come out showing how the man who was behind Trump was shot in the head and killed by that bullet that grazed his ear. For fuck's sakes, why are you people so awful? This is not even true. The guy that was shot and killed in the head was closer to the shooter than Trump, right? He was in the stands closer to the shooter that died. So this isn't even true. But of course, you can't have any discussion without the maggots coming out.
People died that day. Americans were killed. We have no proof that Trump was hit with a bullet. You understand? Two things can be true at the same time. I want you to pay. If
Kamala Harris couldn't legally be president, then she wouldn't have been allowed to be vice president. They're the same stipulations. Because you're literally a heartbeat away from becoming president automatically with no checks or balances or investigations. Like if Joe Biden dies tonight, she immediately becomes president. So the same thing that requires you, the same requirements for president are for vice president as well. I don't know why people don't understand that. If there was a time to play if there was some smoking gun and a time to play she's not eligible, it would have been when Joe Biden was elected the first fucking time.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think you're talking
There's a video released of the bullet actually piercing his ear, so there's that.
About this, which is being pitched as footage when it's actually just two pictures. That makes this very, very suspicious. I don't think this is misinformation. I think this is disinformation. The difference is that disinformation is active misinformation seeking to perpetuate a particular narrative. In this case, these two frames are being sent out into the public and told that they're footage, when in reality it's two different pictures that happen to perfectly paint a particular narrative. And that narrative is that a bullet struck Trump's ear. But I'm going to show you how we can create our own false narrative right now using this same technique. I'm talking at a rally. Let's add a reference point. Let's slow it down so we can find some good frames. There's a good one. Let's grab it. Let's go ahead and keep playing so we can find another frame that fits right in the center. How about there? Great. Let's go make some disinformation. I'm going to pull those screenshots into an editor. I'm going to crop them so they're about the same size.
Oh, no.
Two pictures that together.
Going to recreate it?
Information artifact that's supposed
oh, no.
I'm trying to perpetuate.
Oh, my God.
I would have been shot and killed had I not turned my head just moments before. I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry for the potato quality for this one, but look at this.
Says found the sniper team closest to the shooter would have had their line of sight likely obscured by trees, making it difficult for them to see him clearly.
So sniper spotted him 20 minutes before he started shooting. But now, trees may have blocked sniper's ability to see him. I keep seeing overlay photography like this, where they put the shooter somewhere over there on the roof. And
So, one thing to know about the snipers, if they saw him ahead of time on the rooftop, just like almost every other police force, they have they have rules of engagement, right? They have to abide by, I think it's Graham v. Connor is a Supreme Court. Imagine if you will, let's go back in time. Imagine if you will, he's just a 20-year-old kid who doesn't have a gun, who just wants to see the president. He works at this factory, and he's on break, and he usually smokes behind this building, but he decides to stand up on the roof, and he's fucking dropped, right? I'm not saying, I'm not repeating the narrative that they had to. There was a narrative going around saying they asked 3 or 4 times if they could shoot him and they kept getting denied. That's not true. If you see a guy with a gun in the vicinity of the president, you don't have to ask a goddamn soul to shoot. But if you just see a guy, you can't use deadly force just on a guy 160 yards away that may or may not have a gun, right? That's when you send people in, right? That's when you call them in, tag him as a threat, and then send people in closer to see if he has a gun, to see if he has explosives, to see if he has a fucking rocket launcher.
We have plenty of aerial photos that show the day of the rally. Lots of aerial photos. And what's really interesting about these photos is that the shooter in a lot of these diagrams is always being placed way over here on the left. Here's one from the New York Times. Look where they're putting the shooter. But he's visible from people in the grass.
I think that's a trick, because his dead body from that drone footage did have him pretty far on the left.
Visible from people in the grass. It's interesting how the location of the shooter is so relevant to whether Trump actually was shot. We know at the time of the shooting that Trump was directing the crowd's attention.
Yeah, I mean, they can't just go shoot people, right? Because they look suspicious. Just like a cop is not supposed to stop you and shoot you because you're suspicious, right? Just because you startle a cop doesn't mean they could shoot you. They weren't expecting you there, didn't expect to see you there, didn't whatever. If you're ignoring commands, like they're saying, hey, stop, and you're charging at them, that may be a time to engage with lethal force. Probably less than lethal, tasers and shit, right? Like you're trying to charge a gate or charge the president or whatever. That's going to be an example. But if they just see a guy on a roof, they can't exactly just fucking shoot him. They can call him in. They can send officers in closer. They can send somebody up on a ladder. They can see whatever. And as soon as a gun appears, they can shoot him. But they're not going to be able to just shoot him for being on a roof. What if the company forgot that they're having a maintenance guy come out there and replace screws, right? And he was just in shorts and a T-shirt because he works in the roofing industry. He's out there replacing screws on a metal roof. They blow his fucking brains out.
To that big billboard right there. For him to have been struck by a bullet in his right ear, the shooter would have had to have the red line of sight. But the shooter was in the green line of sight location. Something's not adding up here. I'm sorry for the video quality for this one.
The shattered teleprompter theory is a form of strategic contradiction. To believe it, you'd have to accept that Trump has lied about what happened, because on Truth Social, he claims a bullet ripped through his ear. These contradictory realities, one where the shattered teleprompter theory makes sense because Trump has lied.
It's not. Climbing on top of a roof is not. I mean, people get weird fucking vantage point. Climbing on top of a roof is not. Hell no. That's not enough to shoot somebody.
Before and has been convicted of fraud, and then another where the anomalies around the alleged...
All you have to do is take the same situation with just a fucking cop, right? It's going to be the exact same thing. They have to believe that there's imminent threat of harm to the president. Climbing on a roof doesn't prove imminent threat. A cop couldn't shoot you for climbing on a roof. Could a cop shoot you if you were climbing on a roof and you had a gun sticking out over the edge? You looked like you were fixing a fire? Sure. Could a cop shoot you if you were charging him or charging a stage or charging somebody else? Probably.
Attempt support the teleprompter theory and indicate in an interesting way that Trump is lying and defrauding the American people in broad daylight.
It's not, and it's not any different. When I think Trump landed, Obama did too. Trump and Obama landed at our local airport at different times. I think Trump was on the campaign trail and Obama was already president, and he was doing something and going to Asheville, and people climbed on top of all kinds of weird shit to see him, like up on top of buildings, up on top of their fucking vehicle and shit, just because it's a big deal. Not to mention, it's a factory that was at work, right? There's all kinds of things that could happen.
Make it hard for people to reason about what's going on. And that's true regardless of where your political affiliation lies. And that's also the point of strategic contradictions. Contradictions disorient and...
Even FBI, Secret Service, whoever, IRS agents, they all have to, they all fall under Graham v. Connor. And the Graham v. Connor ruling was, let's see if we can pull up the ruling. And that's about excessive use of force. I think it's Graham v. Connor. Let me see. A claim of excessive force by law enforcement during an arrest, stop, or other seizure of the individual is subject to objective, reasonable standards of the Fourth Amendment rather than a substantive due process standard under the 14th Amendment. In other words, the facts and circumstances related to the use of force should drive the analysis rather than any improper intent or motive by the officer who used force. Facts. When a diabetic patient began experiencing an insulin reaction, he asked for a friend to drive him to a convenience store to buy orange juice. Since the store was crowded, when he arrived, the patient felt that he would not get the orange juice in time and asked his friend to drive him to another individual's house. A police officer noticed the patient leaving the store soon after he entered it and followed him to the friend's car. The officer eventually stopped the vehicle and ordered the patient and the friend to wait while he investigated what happened in the store. The other police officers handcuffed the patient after arriving on the scene. While failing to investigate or address his medical condition, the patient was injured during these events, but the original officer released him after some time had passed when he found out no crime had occurred in the original store. The Fourth Circuit vacated and remanded. Chief Justice. The case requires us to decide what constitutional standard governs a free citizen's claim that law enforcement officials use excessive force in the course of making an arrest, investigatory stop, or other seizure of his person. We hold that such claims are properly analyzed under the 14th Amendment, under the Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness standard rather than under a substantive due process standard. In this action under 14 U.S.C. 1983, Petitioner Dethorne Graham seeks to recover damages for injuries allegedly sustained when law enforcement officers used physical force against him during the course of investigatory stop. But because the case comes to us from a decision of the Court of Appeals affirming the entry of a directed verdict for respondents, we take the evidence hereafter noticed in light most favorable to the petitioner. On November 12th, 1984, Graham, a diabetic, it redoes all that. Respondent Connor saw Graham hastily enter and leave the store. In the ensuing confusion, a number of Charlotte police officers arrived, blah, blah, blah. Several officers then lifted. At some point in his encounter with the police, Graham sustained a broken foot, cuts on his wrist, a bruised forehead. A divided panel of the Court of Appeals of Fourth Circuit affirmed. The majority ruled that the First District Court had applied the correct legal status in assessing petitioner's excessive force claim without attempting to identify the specific constitutional provision under which that claim arose. The majority endorsed the four-factor test applied to the district court as generally applicable to all claims of constitutionally excessive force brought against governmental officials. The petitioner's evidence 15 years ago. The Court of Appeals for the Second District addressed 1983 damages, claim filed by a pretrial detainee who claimed that a guard had assaulted him without justification. Law enforcement officers deprives a suspect of liberty without due process of law. To support the proposition relied upon, blah, blah, blah. Years following. I just want to read the opinion that's on obsessive force. Merely provides, in most instances, that will either be a Fourth Amendment prohibition under unreasonable seizures of the person or the blah, blah, blah. Whereas here, the excessive force claims arise in the context of an arrest, investigatory stop, or a free citizen, it is most properly characterized as one invoking the protection of the Fourth Amendment, which guarantees citizens a right to be secure in their persons against unreasonable seizures of the person. This much is clear from our decision in Tennessee versus Garner. Supra L. Garner, we addressed the claim that use of deadly force to apprehend a fleeing suspect did not appear to be armed or otherwise dangerous, violated a suspect's constitutional rights, notwithstanding the existence of probable cause to arrest. Alleged both Fourth Amendment, unreasonable seizure of the person, holding that unreasonableness. Damn it, there's a lot to read. Let me play a video.
Cognitively disarm people. When people are disoriented and cognitively disarmed, they're more susceptible to influence, especially to influential ideas that confirm their biases. We know from decades of studying and analyzing political movements across the world that people in power often use strategic contradictions to create confusion and erode people's capacity for critical thinking, often leading to a state of blind obedience in cases where those in power have a vested interest in preventing their followers and the general public from asking too many questions. The shattered teleprompter theory shows how logical contradictions support the spread of propaganda. Devout supporters wrestling with the incongruence of details around Trump and the alleged assassination have a kind of cognitive safety line that allows them to avoid critical thinking. They're given permission to accept the narrative provided for them, regardless of whether it's later debunked or not. The shattered teleprompter theory is a form of strategic contradiction.
Okay, here's what they have to compare. So it's all about reasonableness. So it says means how a reasonable officer on the scene would act. It does not mean a 2020 hindsight recapitulation of an incident after, I just found a summary, after it's over and its results are known. The U.S. Supreme Court determined each instance on the use of force must be judged in light of what a reasonable officer would do in a particular situation. At least 3 factors must be taken into consideration. The severity of the crime, right? And getting on a roof's not even a crime. The severity of the crime. Is a suspect an immediate threat to the police officer or the public? Not if he doesn't have a firearm. So if we're assuming they didn't see a firearm, right? Is a guy on a roof, which is not illegal, not with a firearm, right? Just chilling out. We don't know what the fuck he's doing. He could be working. He could be on his break. He could just be trying to see the president. And is the suspect actively resisting or evading arrest? Those are the 3 tenets of establishing judged in the light of while it's happening, right? They can't just shoot a guy for being on a roof. No more than they could shoot you for being on a roof, even if the president's there.
Believe it, you'd have to accept that Trump has lied about.
Well, why don't you understand that? Is there anything that happened during January 6th that doesn't normally happen at ordinary protests?
So this is an idiot. I just don't understand what makes J6 a bigger deal from any ordinary protest.
Well, why don't you understand that? Is there anything that happened during January 6th that doesn't normally happen at ordinary protests? Did the United States Congress do anything in response to January 6th that they don't normally do to ordinary protests? And is there anything from the information that Congress published about January 6th that you could use to change your understanding of what January 6th was in comparison to ordinary protests? Well, why don't you understand that? Is there anything that happened during January 6th that doesn't normally happen at ordinary protests? Did the United States Congress...
He's pretty smart, but he's got a bunch of videos on where he was, when the shooting first happened. Those are what kind of made him go viral. Let's go check out some of those.
The answer is it doesn't. The perimeter is well less than half of the max effective range of an AR-15 style weapon. Not only that, it's one of only a limited number of clear vantage points to where Trump was standing. Incompetence alone does not explain this. That's the thing that I hope people understand. Incompetence alone does not explain for why that vantage point was allowed to have somebody on there who was not a Secret Service agent. This is not a very large, complicated, tactical situation here.
I do think we're going to learn a lot from the investigation, for sure.
No, nobody's missing that. What we're saying is that it is completely incongruent with what we would expect.
Again, people are arguing like, oh, they didn't let him stand up till the threat was over. You never assume there's one threat. I do want to show you something pretty interesting. This is Dinner Pancakes, if you guys want to follow him. DINNER Pancakes. You guys know how to spell pancakes, right? Over on Tick. I think he's got some good advice. I think he may be a little too conspiratorial against Trump. But you never know. I mean, he has fucking lied about a bunch of shit. We're going to go now to Ryan Macbeth. So Ryan Macbeth did something amazing. You guys remember Ryan Macbeth? I had an interview with him. He's actually on Sage's channel. And we did an interview with him. He's the guy that does all the war coverage, all the propaganda, all this, that, Russian misinformation, breaks everything down. He literally works. Well, he'll go over his resume here. Check this out. He did something fucking amazing. And I think he had to do it to every Twitter account.
Known as Twitter account
running their fucking
and
mouth.
Wokeness. Who runs the X, or formerly known as Twitter account, End Wokeness? The X account, End Wokeness, is a politically charged account that frequently engages in posts about social, cultural, and political issues. The account mainly focuses on criticizing woke culture, which typically refers to a set of progressive, liberal, or left-leaning ideals related to social justice, race, gender, and other identity politics. The tone of these tweets from End Wokeness...
So End Wokeness, the Twitter account, which I've actually engaged and argued with. It's got this like Chad looking blonde guy or whatever, but it's End Wokeness Twitter account. Who owns it? Because they spread a shit ton of misinformation.
Wokeness tends to be provocative, controversial, and sometimes outright lies. Now,
by the way, the lie about the $700, he's going to talk about it, but we covered this. The $700 to the victims in Hawaii of the wildfire, the $700 were the emergency funds to get like clothes, food, shoes until you could come back and apply for more relief, right? $700 is just what they give you just for walking up. Then you apply and you get your paperwork together and you do your thing. This is just to get you through to a couple of days until you can apply for relief. And again, they're like, oh, they send billions to Ukraine and $700 to people in Hawaii, and that's it. That's not even true. It's a fucking lie.
This is probably going to get shared a lot, so allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Macbeth. I'm a software engineer and director of integration for the Texas Aero Med Lab. This company uses AI-powered drones to deliver whole blood to wounded soldiers. So I know a little bit about software.
He's changed jobs since so they use drones, AI-powered drones, to deliver blood to wounded soldiers, which is a fucking awesome job, it sounds like. But he used to identify threats for three-letter agencies, basically.
And artificial intelligence. In a previous job, I wrote C4ISR software for the military, which is basically software that finds bad guys. And once I found those bad guys, I would give the information to my client, which would, well, you get the idea. So I'm really good at using technology to find bad guys. I first encountered this End Wokeness account in December of 2022, when the account posted a picture of American Vice President Kamala Harris surrounded by Air Force servicemen with the caption, "Is this what our military actually looks like?" And before I wrote software, I was a heavy weapons infantryman who retired after 20 years.
Which was fucked up, right? They shared this picture and saying, is this what our military really looks like? Because they thought, I don't know, they looked, weak or something. Like, I don't even, who the fuck even knows? Like, it's just a bunch of people trying to get a picture because they had an opportunity to meet the Vice President of the United States. And she probably said, hey, everybody get in here for a picture, right? Who gives a fuck if they're holding up peace signs or smiling, or who gives a fuck?
Harris surrounded by Air Force servicemen with the caption, "Is this what our military actually looks like?" And before I wrote software, I was a heavy weapons infantryman who retired after 20 years. I'm an Irish Protestant, and I served with Mormons and African American Muslims, and we were all brothers. And this post just rubbed me wrong.
I think again, it's like a race thing, because there's a lot of people that are different races here.
So I made a video about it. And over the course of the next 2 years, I made 2 more videos correcting this End Wokeness account for spreading misinformation, or in some cases, disinformation, or outright lies. And this account has grown by leaps and bounds over the past few years. Elon Musk, the owner of X, has even interacted with the account on previous occasions. And this scared me a little, because this account is essentially a fire hose of fake news, of disinformation and misinformation.
You're going to find out this person actually knows exactly what our military looks like. When I was in the military, it didn't matter. Nobody cared about skin color, right? Everybody was there together.
Normally, I wouldn't care, right? It's just some dude in his mom's basement, or maybe yet another Russian psyop like this dude. And by the way, you can see my evidence for this Russian psyop below. And then I was invited to the 2024 Disaster and Emergency Response Conference to present on how to counter disinformation during a disaster. And I had to write a paper in order to present at this particular conference. And one of the examples I cited was the term Hawaii, not Ukraine. See, back in August of 2023, lightning caused a wildfire on Maui, the Hawaiian island of Maui. And at about...
No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be a wildfire caused by... It was a Jewish space laser, right?
Casualties resulted from that fire, and many, many homes were burned to the ground. And in that month, there just so happened to be an American congressional delegation traveling to Ukraine. So there was this narrative that was started by...
So again, it wasn't like the wildfire happens, they look the other way, and they're like, let's all go to Ukraine. This was scheduled months and months in advance that this delegation was going to be in Ukraine already, making press appearances, doing their thing.
By Russian bots, that we were sending millions of dollars to Ukraine, but Hawaiians who were affected by wildfires were only receiving $700 payments. This was a lie. It was an outright lie. FEMA was granting cash assistance for something called critical needs assistance, which basically provides a one-time payment of $700 to address immediate needs like food, water, clothing, stuff that got burned up. And then you come back the next day and you apply for your actual relief. But End Wokeness implied that this was all that people were getting. With this tweet, I think Joe Biden should take his $700 and get back on the effing planes. And this lie was seen over 2 million times. And the fact that End Wokeness would spread this Russian-supported lie, well, that's when I decided to figure out who this guy really was.
Russian-supported lie.
Is the account Russian? Is the account American? Is the account somewhere in between? And I can say with pretty good...
So if there's anybody qualified to do this, it's this guy, right? He literally hunts bad guys on the internet and drone footage. He hunts down bad guys for a living before he started his new job delivering blood with drones and AI. He would hunt bad. He developed the software that hunts bad guys, right?
Confidence I know who runs the account. Hey, you know I said I was going to Australia for a conference? Well, that's like a 15-hour trip. So you know I'm going to be getting internet. Now, Qantas Internet is powered by Viasat. And yes, that's the same Viasat.
No one gives a fuck. Literally, no one gives a fuck.
That has come under cyber attack before. And that's why when I travel, I use PIA VPN. So click the link in the description below or go to piavpn.com/Macbeth to get 83% off plus 4 months free. Listen, Australia is constantly targeted by Chinese hackers. I actually went and bought a second phone and a second laptop just for this trip. And when I come home, I'm going to reset both of these to factory settings. And when I'm in Australia, I'll use PIA VPN even if I'm on my phone. PIA VPN creates a tunnel between your computer and the public internet that hackers and rogue government agents can't penetrate. It also lets you look like you're in a different location. I've been really into that Hulu tank show. And Hulu might geofence this, so I won't be able to watch it in Australia. But with PIA VPN, I will. So go to piavpn.com/Macbeth or click the link in the description below to get 83% off plus 4 months free. Now let's get back to talking about end wokeness. Now analyzing this account took months of software analysis, and if you want to replicate my work, all of my files are available on ryanmacbeth.substack.com for free. I am a man of science, and good science is reproducible. Note that none of these files contain personal information. This isn't doxing. All the data used to decipher the user behind the wokeness account is publicly available. It's just been sitting there for anyone to discover. All the dots are there. You just have to connect them. And anyway, the person behind the account is a public figure. Now, I started with taking down all of the tweets ever sent by the End Wokeness account, and I discovered something odd. The account was created in July of 2022, but its tweet history only goes back to February 8th, 2023. So I looked at the Wayback Machine, and the first tweet was on June 29th, 2022, which was a retweet of journalist Tucker Carlson regarding monkeypox. And
so automatically they deleted a bunch of their tweets.
Oftentimes, this is how Russian disinformation accounts get started. They start tweeting popular disinformation accounts like Tucker Carlson, hoping to gain followers. Note that back then, the account called themselves Anti-Woke Warrior. For more about how Russian disinformation bots are born, watch my video on the topic. But then the account starts growing. In just 7 days, from July 29th, 2022 to August 5th, 2022, the account grew to more than 3,000 some followers. In 4 more days,
and a lot of times these aren't just buying bots, right? A lot of times these aren't just buying bots. They're other bot accounts that are being managed by other bot farms, right? It's not just buying followers.
Account followers doubled. Normally this does not happen without some kind of foreign help. The account grew at an average of 1,700 or so followers per day.
And you don't have to have like a contract with Russia, right? If you just, it's almost like a positive feedback loop where you do this thing and you get it the same way all social media is, right? They say the way they go viral on TikTok is you find something that kind of goes viral, and then you keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's why you'll have an account with like 300 videos of them popping balloons or something stupid, right? That's all they do is pop balloons. Well, you don't have to have like a contract with Russia. If you retweet the right thing or make the right post, and a Russian bot farm or Russian-controlled accounts notice you, then you get followers, and you think, I posted this, I got a lot of followers. What if I post this? You get a lot of followers. What if I post this? No followers. So you stop posting that, right? And you keep posting it, and the bots keep coming, and the Russian-controlled accounts keep coming. They retweet you, they follow, they subscribe, and it's a positive feedback loop that you get stuck into whether you realize it or not. This guy is smart enough to realize it, though, when you find out who this is.
Elon Musk bought Twitter, it grew at an average of 3,600 followers per day. By February 7th, 2023, on the eve of the State of the Union address, the account had about 586,000 followers. And then the account did something funny. They deleted all their previous tweets. I'm still trying to figure that one out. And maybe it was kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight. You want to be a force of chaos. But once you have an origin story, you kind of take away some of that mystique. So I pulled down all the tweets from End Wokeness, and I analyzed them. And one word kept coming up. It was the word schlit. And this is kind of an...
So you look for strange words they might use, like schlit. How many times have you said schlit in your life, right? Not a super common word, but they use it all the time.
Interesting choice of words, because people don't tend to use that word all that much, but it is used by 2 major accounts, End Wokeness and Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok is also...
So I wonder, Libs of TikTok. Interesting. Who's Libs of TikTok, you may ask?
People don't tend to use that word all that much, but it is used by 2 major accounts, End Wokeness and Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok is also a right-wing anti-woke account, and it's run by a woman named Chaya Ratchik. Could Chaya Ratchik be End Wokeness?
Who is Chaya Ratchik? Well, she's the dumb bitch doxing everybody and literally a Russian agent.
Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok is also a right-wing anti-woke account, and it's run by a woman named Chaya Ratchik. Could Chaya Ratchik be End Wokeness? So I downloaded all the tweets from both End Wokeness and Chaya Ratchik, and I ran some analysis. Now, in the intelligence community, we call this pattern of life analysis. From this, you can figure out everything from when someone wakes up to when they go to work to when they have lunch.
By the way, it's not Libs of TikTok yet, but she is a Russian agent.
End Wokeness tweets on average...
Even though, like, some of the videos I thought were, like, compelling, interesting, funny, they went to fucking doxing people. And they started probably a year ago, but it's been really bad since the Trump thing. I quit following them and everything.
15.5 times per day, with most tweets falling into a band between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Chaya Radchik tends to tweet between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Note that X converts everything to your local time when being a tweet, so I am on the East Coast. I just want you to know that so you can take time zones into account if you do your own analysis. But
so they didn't line up, right? The pattern of life stuff. By the way, a lot of people will be interested to learn Libs of TikTok is a... You ready for it? Libs of TikTok, the owner of Libs of TikTok, is a Orthodox Jew. Now, I don't personally care, but the side retweeting all their shit probably does.
Here, the tweet times, they just don't match up. And if you do a breakdown by day, End Wokeness tends to tweet on weekdays and sometimes on the weekends. Chaya Radchik's tweets fall off a cliff on Saturdays. And note that Chaya Radchik is an Orthodox Jew. Observant Jews who obey the rules of the Jewish Sabbath, which is from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, they don't tend to use electricity on the Sabbath. So I think we can safely discount Chaya Radchik. But keying off that word...
Where's Jason Q when you need him?
Schlitt, I came upon another account, Jack Posobiec. Mr. Posobiec is an American alt-right political...
Oh, no. But Jack Posobiec has a big account. Why would Jack Posobiec need an anonymous account to tweet even crazier bullshit from? That's weird.
Activist, television correspondent, and a former United States Navy intelligence officer. Now, analyzing his tweets took a while. The file itself is 22 megabytes. That is a lot of tweets. This guy tweets about 80 times a day.
Jack Posobiec tweets about 80 times per day on average. 79.9 or whatever it said. 80 times a day. I think it was 80 point something, actually. 80 fucking times a day.
Mostly between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Now, going through the tweets, Mr. Posobiec has 2.5 million followers, and Wokeness has 2.6 million followers. So, why would someone create a new account just to replicate the level of fame or followers that they...
Because he can text stuff that won't tie to him. Because he can text stuff that, or he can tweet stuff that won't tie to his name, right? If he has this anonymous account where he talks other bullshit, it doesn't fall back on him when he makes appearances, when he's going to be on the news, when he goes on someone's podcast. Those aren't tied to him. Jesus hates you.
Currently have now. So I almost discounted it until I noticed something else. 9 tweets from End Wokeness contain this character E, which is the Polish letter E, a little E with a tail. Oftentimes this character is used by End Wokeness as substitution for the English letter E when saying words that could be filtered as dirty or inappropriate by a computer. Some examples are the words murder or stabbed, or another word which is a definition for assault of an intimate nature. So why the Polish E? Why not a French E or an Albanian E?
The Polish E? Do we know somebody Polish?
But a Polish E. So I took a look at Mr. Posobiec's tweets again, and it appears that he uses that character when writing Polish text. It is part of the Polish alphabet. And apparently, Mr. Posobiec speaks both Chinese and Polish. So that probably means he has a Polish keyboard installed on his computer or his phone. In the intelligence community, this is what we call a clue. So then I looked to see if there were any times when End Wokeness retweeted Mr. Posobiec, and I found something interesting. On one occasion, End Wokeness replied to Mr. Posobiec, and that isn't all that odd. I mean, End Wokeness has replied to Libs of TikTok, so it isn't uncommon for one alt-right account to reply to another alt-right account. But End Wokeness also retweeted Mr. Posobiec 5 times. Of those 5 times, all 5, every single time, the time in which Mr. Posobiec tweets and the time in which End Wokeness retweets matches up exactly with it.
You know how impossible this would be, right? Of those 5 retweets from Jack Posobiec and End Wokeness retweets it, it's down to the fucking second. Like literally click here, click here. Click here, click here. Click here, click here. That would, 5 times would be impossible. 1 time would be rare. Like for you to see somebody's post instantly on Twitter and be like, I'm going to retweet that right now. 5 times?
Within 1 second. The odds of this happening are very low. The odds of this happening 5 times are very, very low. For example, on the day Mr. Posobiec tweeted, "Why do ads keep doing this?" he also sent 170 other tweets. So if End Wokeness was like an automated bot that was retweeting everything, why wasn't he tweeting everything else? The only conclusion I can come to is that Mr. Posobiec has two phones or two Chrome tabs open, one with his End Wokeness personality and one as himself. Sends a tweet as himself, refreshes
Probably one on his PC, one on his fucking phone. Hell, he could have two phones. It's him.
the screen, retweets. Or perhaps there's an autoresponder bot that's only turned on when specific tweets are sent. So using ICD 203, which is the standard in the intelligence community for evaluating.
So Intelligence Community Directive 203, we've used here on the show before. I've had it off to the side, but we've quoted it before. This is how you basically place some clues together and you give a percentage, right? I forget what it includes. Less likely, more likely, likely, extremely likely. You'll see them in a second. I can't remember what they call them. The ICD 203, the Intelligence Community Directive 203, is how you put how likely something is to a piece of information that you've got, a clue or even a whole case you're building, how likely it is. And it's a percentage base.
And based on the commonality of writing styles, the topics covered, the special characters, the tweet times, I would say that End Wokeness is likely Jack Posobiec.
55 to 80%. Very likely, unlikely, roughly even chance. Likely, very likely, almost certainly. Almost certainly is 95 to 99. So this is probably up on the 80 end of the scale, especially with those 5 retweets. It's probably up on the 80 end of the scale, but it's not 80 to 95%. End Wokeness is Jack Posobiec.
And this kind of brings me back to the original tweet that caught my attention, the one with Vice President Harris surrounded by Air Force airmen. Mr. Posobiec served 8 years in the Navy, and he knows what our military looks like. He knows that we come from all walks.
Especially in the Navy. The Navy's a really diverse branch. Like, he served in the Navy. He knows what it looks like. He's fucking Polish.
Of life. And you know, not everybody in that picture voted for the party that President Harris represents, but who cares? How often do you get a chance to get a picture with the vice president? So when you take that moment away from them, that just rubs me wrong. So I want to make something perfectly clear to every disinformation agent out there watching this, foreign or domestic.
I think it's shady, right? Why do you need a shit posting account, especially as a public figure? Jack Posobiec presents himself as a public figure. Right? Senior editor at Human Events, veteran Navy intel officer, Catholic, not a fan of communists. Why wouldn't his shit be posted under his official title? Who he is, attached to his fucking name. Why does he need an anonymous account to post with?
Whether you're in Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, or operating under the banners of a domestic destabilization organization, America is not intimidated by your propaganda. We are at war on the information dominance battlefield, and we will not retreat because we understand the damage that you inflict on the innocents.
Oh, he leaves a little threat here at the end. Hold on.
And Russia, China, North Korea, or make something perfectly clear to every disinformation agent out there watching this, foreign or domestic. Whether you're in Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, or operating under the banners of a domestic destabilization organization, America is not intimidated by your propaganda. We are at war on the information dominance battlefield, and we will not retreat because we understand the damage that you inflict on the innocents. You would do well to recognize the resolve with which we defend America. We aim for peace, but if you insist on waging a war of state-sponsored propaganda against the United States of America, know this: the truth will prevail, and your legacy will be one of failure and shame. Thank you for watching.
Your legacy will be one of failure and shame.
America, know this: the truth will prevail, and your legacy will be one of failure and shame. Thank you for watching.
Oh man, I'm so bored! Christ on crutches with a permanent profile. That's because you have the wrong toys. You need a Ryan Macbeth in action figure from the Knife Hand Company.
Those are pretty sweet. Printed on a resin printer. He's in his bathrobe that he did a lot of his videos from, in a pair of sandals. Got his bottle of scotch with him and carrying at this fucking 240 Bravo, probably.
That's right, Ryan Macbeth in action figures go everywhere. Put them on your desk, your Crocs, your keychain. You can even ask Ryan advice. Ryan, why does Daddy ignore me when I'm over his house for the weekend? Because your new mommy is way hotter than your old mommy. Trading cards. You get a free trading card in every box. Now that's Ryan-rific. So
that's Ryan-rific. That's like those. You guys remember those Power Thirst videos I showed you? When he's like, what about Special Forces? Fuck Special Forces! I don't know if you guys were here for that day. That was a weird show.
Come on down to the Knife Hand Company and get your in-action figure today. Alcoholism, cigarettes, and non-service connected hearing loss sold separately.
Ryan McBeth busting Jack Posobiec as the piece of shit he always was. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. So what do you guys think about the Kamala Harris chances? What do you give it? I know it's not perfect. Do you think it's even better than Biden, or you think it's worse than Biden? It's a little late in the game to be doing their things. You know what I'm saying? To be swapping it up, it seems a little bit late in the game. Who was that guy? You guys remember the guy that that was talking about how to be an alpha male and how to command your wife around and you got to be more alpha than all the other guys. He even sold people a course for like thousands of dollars on becoming an alpha male. Then it turned out that he was into gay twinks and his wife being cucked while he watched, and she come home and recounted tales of her pussy being filled with other people's semen. Who was that guy? You guys remember what I'm talking about? It's not Nick Adams. Not Andrew Tate. Damn it. What was that guy's name? Jack Murphy. Jack Murphy. I don't know why I just thought about him. Jack Murphy, dude. Oh, poor old. And it all came out because I guess people found it on the internet while he was doing a show with Elijah Schaefer. And they were donating stuff and asking him about it. But he was like hardcore talking about how he'd like to send his wife out to like hook up with a guy. She had like a breeding fetish, and then she would come home and tell him all about it, and he would examine her. Wild, dude. Whatever your kink is, I guess, but you can't come out here and tell people how they got to be the alpha male. How they got to be the alpha male. My account is a manifesto against the healthcare cartels, against sloth and decay, and for all things good and beautiful. He's really changed his lookup. I just looked it up. He's really changed his lookup. Now he's all about being healthy instead of being an alpha, which was what was making him money. Now he's being healthy, which is he started a company called Rebel Health. I just looked it up. We got some other updates. You want to see a Gotcha Man update? I think it's the Gotcha Man. 2 words, maybe. There it is. I guess I'll address it. Act Blue has already raised $46 million for Harrison. I knew the money would come flowing in because I also knew there were probably people holding back on Joe Biden ticket. I mean, if people invest money, they want a return on it.
Good Sunday morning, everybody. Ain't nothing like a Sunday morning video at Walmart, am I right? Yeah, no, you know how she has a job, a credit score, and knows how to read and write and all that? Yeah, she's going to put all that together and get us out of the project. Wow. Where are we moving to? Nowhere.
A lot of people are blaming this on there's a New York Times piece that came out. It was editorial, New York Times piece, but it kind of went pretty viral. And it was, the title of it was, if Joe Biden wants to serve his country, he should leave the race. And it hit pretty hard. Cenk Uygur was talking about it. Andrew Cuomo had Cenk Uygur on a podcast. They were talking. A lot of people that were already anti-Biden really fucking amplified that.
It's all a lie just for YouTube. Did you hear the address? It's a lie for YouTube.
This was him pretending to be Johnny Gobble, where his wife was going to bail him out and get him out of the fucking Section 8 housing.
How to read and write and all that. Yeah, she's going to put all that together and get us out of the project. Wow. Where are we moving to? Nowhere. It's all a lie just for YouTube. Did you hear the address? It's a lie for YouTube.
Oh, no.
Speaking of Johnny Gobble, have you guys seen his recent video? We all had to wonder what his response was going to be, if he had one at all. But let's play a little clip of it. Oh, that's right. You can't play his video. Well, here, I'll reenact
play it. grasping at straws. Johnny's already deleted the video.
It looks something like that. I mean, it's pretty close. I think it wasn't 720p though, but you guys get the idea. But no, all jokes aside, that was his answer to it, right? Was to show us more of what we were already talking about. Yeah, prove it to us, Johnny. Show us exactly my point. If you notice at the top, has anybody used their regular cell phone number and had ads run across the top? The answer is no, it's rhetorical. What he proved to us was that when he walked into his county attorney's office and said, man, I've gotten call after call after call after call after call, and what warrants it to be the level of harassment is because so many calls back to back to back to back to back is what makes it harassment and gets it up to the level of getting somebody in trouble in the court of law, right? Well, here's the problem, is it's not your actual phone number, is it, Johnny? It's the Text Now app that you share on YouTube for your call-in live streams, right?
So this is kind of a bombshell, I think. Johnny is not even showing phone calls from his actual phone number. It is an app called Text Now that he set up a phone line just for people to call in from his show. That's where he's showing all these missed calls. He went live several times, deleted them afterwards, where he had people call in and people just called in and trolled him because they hate Johnny. They fucking hate Johnny. So basically, he went to the police saying that he was being harassed with the number he gave out to thousands of people and told them to call and saying, look at all these missed calls I got. You did that.
It just so happens that as you're scrolling through there, and don't worry, don't delete it, I've already got it, that they line up perfectly with all your call-in lives. Don't they, Johnny? Every one of those, got it.
Email not available. Voicemails expire after so many days. That is 5/7/2022. That's how old the voicemail that he used to claim that Gotcha Man was harassing him in June was. It was from May 7th, 2022.
They line up perfectly with all your call-in lives. Don't they, Johnny? Every one of those collective group of phone calls that it's a missed call one after another after another after another is when you were live and you shared the number out and said, hey, everybody call me. So, I mean, come on, man.
I think she'll engage, not to be racist, but I think she'll engage the black vote better than Biden probably will.
I don't know, and the smart people already picked up on that. The rest of you guys, well, you're not really watching to learn anything anyway, right? You're just kind of watching with a little bit of drool falling out of your mouth and just wondering if people believe your cancer story. I know it's probably too soon. That's why I don't want to put a whole bit together and put it out there and get roasted or hated by a bunch of Trump supporters. You know, I'm not saying who I support, but I think Trump's a badass. I will say that. But I've been working on this bit in my head, and somebody else is going to do it before me. I already know. Probably already have. I haven't looked. But could you imagine, especially like Shane Gillis, you know, Trump on being like Trump explaining it? Like, the bullet, they said it traveled faster than any other bullet. They said, wow, we couldn't even record the speed of the bullet. Wow. I can picture him talking about getting his ear stitched up. The nurses, they said, they bent the needle. They said they've never seen a guy with ears so hard. They said, wow, and I said, ow. Anyway, I said too much already, man. It's just jokes, people, it's jokes. Back to Walmart. For the ultra slow ones, I'll spell it out completely for you. So the whole point of the update video, the entire story.
Oh, real quick, while he's getting back on topic from his thing, check this out. I don't know if anybody saw this this address here. This was viral a few minutes ago.
I want to take a moment to address my fellow Americans. I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking about me. Many of you have said I am suffering from brain worms or that I have applesauce for brains. Well, I won't mince words, so here it is. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of faggots. End of quote.
Oh,
Repeat
shit.
Dude. So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice.
Mr. President, chill out, dude. Jesus Christ.
So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice. I really don't give two fucks anymore. Biden out. My fellow Americans.
Biden out, bitches.
I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking.
Biden out, bitches. So that was an update from the sitting president of the United States.
Is that this dude's a liar and lied to the justice system. That's the point. Stay focused. And he proved that, again, I mean, solidified it. He made sure for 100% that there's no doubt by sharing the fact that it was a Text Now number that he received these harassing phone calls on. So I think that addresses that. There's something else that popped up overnight. Should I address it? I don't have to. Should I? I don't know. I haven't made my mind up yet. But the problem is there's good people out there, good friends of mine like Chevy Triple Nickel, who is backing me up and addressing it for me. So that kind of makes it like I owe it. Good people out there, good friends of mine like Chevy Triple Nickel.
This says, before I start this, I've been asked 23 and a half times. No, that is not a at Lil Feller. Man, for someone who hates drama and says that's all people want to use YouTube for, I sure as fuck in a lot of drama. For one, anyone who believes JG, Johnny Gobble, is off their meds or something. Two, Johnny Gobble admitted to Indicuck. Those were old messages, and it was his mistake, something like that. But you witness just how fast a guy can turn on someone, and yeah, not your man, right? Not your man might have fat jaws, but why call him a fat-jawed jarhead motherfucker? Because he ain't no motherfucker. I thought it was comical that the entire chat was pro Gotcha Man when dude got his boots. And even before that, it was Gotcha's a great guy. He's funny, a hard worker, and supports his family. Laugh out loud. Well, in the blink of an eye, he's a snake, two-faced, a rat, and throwing someone in front of him to get out of whatever. Everybody supported Gotcha Man. Now they don't. From Johnny Gobble's
is backing me up and addressing it for me, so that kind of makes it like I owe it to him and folks like him to go ahead and address it as well. So let me get out to the truck and we'll have a little chat about it. That's a clean old fox body right there. Dang. For the record, people who don't put their cart back can suck. So one of the things I had to come get, these little command strips, I'll show you how cheap I am. So this is how cheap I am, man. This is my old cell phone case. When I got an iPhone, I never was able to actually hang it on my windshield. I always used a magnetic deal right here. So I decided instead of buying a whole new one, I'm just going to rip this off this old case.
Look out.
And then just command strip this thing on the back of my phone. It's just a piece of metal, just so it can hang there. Let's try it out, and we'll pick back up where we left. Curveball. One thing about this part. One side says wall, and the other side just says command. Should the phone be the wall? Or the holder? That's like the... I'm overthinking this. Well, moment of truth. Good enough. Wish I wasn't so cheap. So let's get into this, man. Overnight, I woke up to so many notifications and mentions and everything. Everybody, oh, Donald White's after you. Donald White's after you. And then I see this.
Well, I'm about to show the viewers the trick, dude. You sitting here putting my name in your boy.
Donald White's the little man that was mentioned in the voicemails.
Bro. So, and truth be told, I ain't even mad at you, Donald. I'm not mad at you at all because I know exactly what happened here. Is this loser sent this over to you. Like I said, he's grasping big time, man, and trying anything he can do to get anybody on his side to try to help him out and try to save face, dude. It's over, man. So like I said, I ain't mad at you, man. If somebody was bringing something to me like, bro, this guy's trying to use your name, trying to, and you're presented with it that way, I can see how I could see it, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to call truce. If you want a little internet drama, shit, that sells. I'm down. We can go back and forth if you want to. But let's finish the video out and hear you out, man.
So here comes the clip from Johnny Goble that you're gonna be able to hear really good. All right, now here's the video that Johnny sent me. It's not the first one, but it's the second clip. Not this one.
Answer your phone, Johnny.
This one.
Man, Dirk said you've been calling it. Why you gotta call him a bro for? It's little man. No.
That's got you, man. All day in the field. I mean, not you, man.
Hey. Okay, so you think that I'm throwing your name into something. You think that I'm throwing you under the bus or in front of the bus.
Dude, you sitting here putting my name in your...
Don't focus on the wrong part of the story, bro.
Yeah. Don't focus on the wrong part of the story. Yeah, the aliens dropped him off out there. So here's what this man's trying to do, right? Is he's trying to get Donald mad at me. I'm not bringing your name up in anything. Whoever called this man on that live stream while he was doing a call-in stream and going, ah! Whoever called him is the one that brought your name up. Now try to put yourself in my shoes there, Mr. White. And look at this the other way. If you're sitting there, you get a charge from the county because some pussy walked in there and cried and said, oh, this internet stuff is too hard for me. Can you charge this guy? Never mind the fact that I just used a text now number, gave it to 10,000 people on a live stream, and then when they all were trying to call in at the same time, I got a bunch of missed calls from it, and I walked in and tried to use that as some sort of evidence to get somebody in trouble. And then fast forward, you're on the phone with the...
Johnny basically manufactured this whole scenario, and I don't know. I guess little man is mad at Gotcha Man for saying... Did they just say little man? That's the guy who hangs out with fucking Durkee's cousin or whatever.
County attorney trying to figure out how in the world this retard got you charged. And then the county attorney says, let me play the voicemail that he gave me. And then you're sitting there listening, and a call comes up and says, hey, it's Gotcha Man. What are you doing over there? Or whatever the hell it was. What's your first thought going to be? Number one, probably like mine, I laughed. I was like, did he say little man? Like, what? And I didn't even put it together at first, but how do I tell this story without you being in it? And trust me, dude, nobody's in trouble. Not me, not you, nobody's in trouble. The only one that should be in trouble is Gobble Nuts, and they won't even charge him. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But my point is, like I said, put the shoe on the other foot. If you were in that same situation, everybody would have done the same thing. Would have been like, that ain't me. You know, and it's not like I sat there on the phone with the county attorney and said, no, that guy's name is this, and here's his address, here's how you can find him. That's the guy, go after him. No, I simply told my story and said, hey, this idiot tried to get me charged and was using some false shit from, you know, some live stream, call-in stream. And whoever did call in said Little Man, which I assume they're talking about Donald White Jr., because that's what all of us know him as. But like I said, it's not your fault. It's this crybaby little sissy right here who, like you said in your words, sent you this stuff.
Now here's a video that Johnny sent me.
And was like, man, look what this gotcha man's trying to do to you, man. Because he just bathes in negativity. That's what he's about. He wants everybody to hate each other and to love him. And, buddy, it ain't going to work, dude. It ain't going to work at all. I mean, you might have fired up first there, Johnny, because, I mean, maybe he was surprised.
He even tried coming between Ryan Upchurch and his fucking mom, dude. Like, clearly, he's got this motive.
Here, but I was saying his name on a video about something that had to do with the law enforcement or whatever. But anybody with any brains at all that sits back and looks at this whole story can put it together, man. It's all good, though. You know, like I said, if you want some internet drama, man, I'm down. You know, like I said, people love it, pays the bills. But if not, man, it's cool, man. Either way, me and Johnny both sent you something. So I guess you got a choice to make, right? He sent you some voicemails from a text now number that he turned into the police, and I sent you a couple $100 voucher to buy work boots so you can support your family.
Ooh.
I know it's a tough decision to make, but it's yours to make it,
shit.
Everybody else, man, peace out. Love y'all.
Couple $100 buy work boots to support your family. Got you, man. Got you, man. Stirring up trouble again. Look out. There's this video I came across. What would you do if your old lady got invited up on stage at a concert and then this happened? What concert is this? What type of concert is this? What is this concert? Magic Man. Wow. Wow. She's got some. Wow, dude. What is this concert? I think she was Japanese. And then we have this ultimate cell phone over. Oh, somebody tag me in something. What are you tagging me in?
Kamala Harris has a secret admirer. It's Donald Trump, who gave her $6,000 to run for Attorney General of California. Here's one check for $5,000. Guess who else gave Kamala Harris money to run? Ivanka Trump, Donald's daughter. Well, guys, you know, if Kamala Harris is good enough for Donald Trump, she's good enough for America.
Ooh. Donald Trump donated to her California campaign.
Now, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you for the last hour or so have been furiously checking my page for a reaction. So Biden has checked out of the race. Lolly-da. Let's see what happens now. So for those of you who've been around for a while, you know I tend to have like my finger on the pulse of political game playing. And I've been saying for a while that this is going to happen. So this should be a surprise to literally nobody. But this election just completely changed face. And the fact that they did this today so they could steal the Sunday shows and the entire narrative for next week. So in the week that was following the Republican National Convention, where news cameras and news media networks should have been talking about everything that happened at the RNC, no longer will they be doing that because the Democrats have a full new campaign. And that is a pretty impressive feat. Go Democrats. But what they also did was just completely change the narrative of this race. So it's no longer lunatic Donnie against Sleepy Joe. And as you've heard,
I do think that helps, right? Because a lot of people were like, they're both fucking old. This guy's fucking losing his mind. This guy's out of his fucking mind. What the hell's going on? Like, who do we vote for? Now it's a younger person that they could spin a narrative around. She's not fucking old and feeble like Donald Trump.
heard me say 1,000 times on this page, there's an old adage in politics is that Republicans fall in line and Democrats fall in love. And Republicans falling in line, you are seeing happen over on the Republican side. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance together manipulating that reality by telling them, like giving them the freaking Kotex pad for their ears. They're very much ready to drink the Kool-Aid, but Democrats were not in love. In fact, they were panicked. They were in a relationship with someone who'd been good to them, sure, but they didn't have any faith that that person could continue to be good for them for a variety of reasons, and it's fair, right? So Kamala Harris stepping up, that is what the Democratic Party needed to fall in love, especially when you break the Democratic Party down by constituencies, because Kamala Harris is now the first woman that could be elected president. I mean, Hillary Clinton was the first that could be, but now, but she wasn't elected, so here we go. We could elect the first woman president, we could elect the first black president, or the first black woman president, and the first Asian American president. And she's all of those things wrapped up in one. How fucking fun is that, right? So we have an opportunity for the biggest necessary constituencies in the Democratic Party to actually fall in love. Will this energize black voters? Yes. Will it energize black women, the backbone of the Republic or the Democratic Party? Sorry. Yes. So black women will be fired up. They will fire up their families and everything. And black women are good at organizing the vote. I don't know if you know that, but you should know that, and they will. So we've got that. This will energize youth voters because they have a young candidate, and that's all they've basically been asking for. And Kamala Harris, it's going to pain me to say this, has a little bit of that like delightful George W. Kind of charisma that he had, like the kind that annoyed me back in the early 2000s because he's such a goofy, fun little fuck that it hid his war crimes so effectively. That's a rant for another day, but that's what they've done. So young voters are going to be energized. And the most important part about this, to me, is putting this Republican ticket with Project 2025 up against a woman, but not only a woman, but a prosecutor. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but Donald Trump has feelings about black women prosecutors, and now he has to run for president against a black woman prosecutor. That'll be fun. And if anybody can litigate Project 2025 in real time, it will be Kamala Harris. But not only that, is that her existence on the ticket right now is going to bring out the very worst of the Republican Party. The depths of their sexism, the depths of their racism, the depths of their bigotry, all of it will be on full display. And all of those things are the things that turn off the independent, moderate voters that are willing to overlook some of the crazy as just political hysteria and plug their nose and vote for Donald Trump. No more will they be able to do that because the disgusting will be on full display. So, did the 2024 race just completely change? Yep. Am I totally here for it? Yep.
She seems upbeat about it. I did not see this. What is this?
So after our reporting here on the Midas Touch Network that Donald Trump has refused to turn over his medical records relating to the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania last week, on Saturday, Donald Trump had Ronnie Jackson, who's not even a licensed physician anymore. His license expired. He had Ronnie Jackson.
Of course it did. Of course it did. He tried to send a fake slate of licenses into the medical board to qualify as a real license, and he was rejected.
MAGA Republican congressman who's been in a lot of deep trouble for his personal behavior and conduct. He had Ronnie Jackson release like a purported medical note, which has no credibility because he's not even licensed, and it's on congressional letterhead. This raises additional red flags. Donald Trump gave a speech over the weekend. He spoke in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He had like what looked to be like a tiny Band-Aid on his ear. Donald Trump also said things like, I took a bullet, for our democracy. And he also said some other sickening things, which I think it's important that we dig into what were the injuries, especially that's how it was reported. Trump talking more lightheartedly, he's joking now about the attempt on his life, where he apparently sounded somber at the convention, according to New York Times, which I don't think he did. Talking about the immigration chart he turned to look at before the bullets flew last week, he says, I owe immigration my life. An apt statement about his political career and jokes about loving the chart so much, I think I'm going to sleep with the chart, where he was talking about mass deportations. If you take a look at Ronnie Jackson's letter that has zero credibility.
I think I'm going to sleep with it. I think I'm going to... Does that have, like, sexual connotation, right? Like, he could have said, I think I'm going to use it as a blanket. It saved my life. I'm going to put it across my headboard while I sleep. Just saying, I think I'm going to... Does that have sexual connotations?
What are the types of things that it says? He says things like, as the former appointed physician to the president for Donald Trump, I was naturally very concerned, as was the entire world, about his well-being after the assassination attempt. As such,
it did seem like it was just fucking dripping with propaganda, but I accepted it as his doctor, but maybe not.
with him in Bedminster, New Jersey late that evening to personally check on him and offer my assistance in any way possible. I have been with President Trump since that time, and I have evaluated and treated his wound daily. He is doing well. As reported and witnessed by the entire world, he sustained a gunshot wound to the right ear from a high-powered rifle used by the would-be assassin. The bullet passed coming less than a quarter of an inch from entering his head and struck the top of his right ear. The bullet track produced a 2-centimeter wide wound that extended down the cartilage surface of the ear. There was initially significant bleeding followed by marked swelling of the entire upper ear. The swelling has since resolved and the wound is beginning to granulate and heal properly. Based on the highly vascular nature of the ear, there is still intermittent bleeding requiring dressing to be in place. Given the broad and blunt nature of the wound itself, no sutures, no stitches were required. The president was initially treated, his former president, by the medical staff at Butler Memorial Hospital in Butler, Pennsylvania, who did an excellent job evaluating him and treating his wound. I want to thank them. They provided a thorough evaluation for additional injuries, including a CT scan. He will follow up. In summary, former President Trump, there they say former, is doing well, and he is recovering as expected from the gunshot sustained last Saturday. I mean, as expected, if you're hit in the face with an AR-15 bullet and you don't require sutures at all, I mean, I think that's it's a legitimate question to ask.
That seemed kind of weird. It said that it was blunt and something else, that it didn't require any sutures.
And I think it's also a legitimate question to say, why isn't any staff at the Butler Memorial Hospital here, the treating physicians, coming out with statements? Why do you have someone who's not even licensed anymore putting out these statements? And I think that has zero credibility. As Aaron Rupert says, Ronnie Jackson does not have a medical license. He once said Trump would live to 200 years old. He was nicknamed Candyman when he worked in the White House for
He once said Trump would live to 200 years old if he cut down on his cheeseburgers. He was once on a cameraman when he worked at the White House for handing out pills. Oh, that was the big pill scandal we were reading about.
handing out pills without prescriptions. More on that in a moment. And then Aaron Rupert says,
maybe I should have taken it at face value, I guess.
Taking this with a grain of salt. Here's just what the Dallas Morning News had previously reported, just so you know about Ronnie Jackson's license, because I think it's important that we put out all the facts and data to support what we say. The former White House physician has no Texas medical license. His Virginia license expired more than 3 years ago, and his Florida license hasn't been valid since he retired from the Navy in 2019, though it wouldn't make it illegal or unethical to offer aid during an emergency. He had been board certified in emergency medicine since 2005, though a license is still required to practice medicine. So I think that's an important. Records from the American Board of Emergency Medicine show his certification expires at the end of 2025. I'm sure you've seen our prior reports here at the Midas Touch Network about the White House under Donald Trump being turned into a pill mill while Ronnie Jackson was...
Yeah, that was wild. I didn't realize that he would be the same doctor. That was fucking wild. They were giving them to-go bags of like uppers and downers and shit. Like that you didn't even request. Giving you like fucking Vyvanse of Valium and shit just because you were part of a delegation that was going to Germany. You just got like a goodie bag of drugs.
Kind of supervising it. They were giving out fentanyl in the White House, fentanyl patches. By the way, let me just put a little footnote there.
Fentanyl tits. Where's the good American tits now? The crowd is huge. I walked into the room and said, wow, what a big crowd.
If you will, you know how Donald Trump says, oh, migrants are bringing in fentanyl. Just to be clear, most of the fentanyl that comes in from this country comes in from American citizens. And just to also be clear, in terms of crimes committed by migrants versus American citizens have significantly higher crime rates.
Fentanyl tits, one suck your dad.
Than migrant crime rates, just kind of the xenophobic rhetoric by Trump and MAGA. By the way, all crime should be condemned and dealt with seriously, but I think we need to address those xenophobic tropes. Okay, so at the White House, while Ronnie Jackson was in charge, they were giving out, they called him the Candyman for a reason, they were giving fentanyl and fentanyl patches. They were handing out Versed, which is a date rape drug. They were giving out ketamine. They were giving out tons of Adderall, Provigil. I mean, just...
Dr. J. HIPAA has 2 A's. No wonder people are leaving the show saying, oh, I'm tired of Will being full of hate and yelling and shit. Look at the mods. Look at what they're doing to me.
Just take a look at this list of very serious types of drugs that were being handed out at the White House. That's from an Inspector General report that was prepared by the Department of Defense. And you can see that's just one of thousands of log sheets of the types of drugs that were handed out without any kind of accountability whatsoever there. It's Ronnie Jackson.
Yes, on fentanyl tits. Dude, I would love... I used to say I'd like to have an Oxycontin the size of a moon pie. Fentanyl tits? Combining my 2 favorite things. Drugs and titties. The fuck out of here.
We also know, you saw in our prior report, that Donald Trump has a history of directing his doctors to write the notes. Trump tells the doctors what to say, and then they write it down. So remember Donald Trump's other doctor, Dr. Harold Bornstein, who since passed away. Remember Donald Trump, while he was in office, sent his personal bodyguard, Keith Schiller, to raid the office to take the medical records from Dr. Harold.
Dr. J sent me to a live stream today of a guy that was like, it's my birthday, but because I'm a horrible person, I'm not going to be on the stream. So he just had like a profile picture and no sounds, no video, no nothing of a live stream for hours. And I asked him why he wasn't streaming. He's like, because I'm a horrible person and this is supposed to be a happy place. I don't know what I was on today. I made a joke about him fucking his cousin. He didn't even get it.
Bornstein, Trump's former personal doctor. You don't have to believe me. Here's what Trump's former doctor, the late Harold Bornstein, said in 2018. Play this clip.
Exactly what they're looking for. Well,
I'm sorry. You didn't send me? You didn't send me. The claim is you didn't send me. That's the claim you're making now. That you didn't send me. That's your claim? Dr. J posted a video link and then this GIF. Okay.
All the medical records, his pictures, anything they could find. He must have been here for 25 or 30 minutes. It created a lot of chaos. I couldn't believe anybody was making a big deal about a drug that's to grow his hair, which seemed to be so important. And it certainly is not a breach of medical trust to tell somebody they take Propecia to grow their hair. What's the matter with that?
Yeah, so Trump sent people there to take the medical records. Also, Dr. Harold Bornstein at that time told CNN that his medical reports weren't actually his own diagnoses. Donald Trump would dictate it for him. Here, let me show you that so you can see it for yourself and hear it for yourself. Play the clip.
We ran into Dr. Harold Bornstein right here, right outside his office on Park Avenue, and he told us in no uncertain terms, and this is the quote, Aaron, he being Trump, he dictated that whole letter. I didn't write that letter, meaning that Trump dictated what he wanted to go into it and essentially...
Trump dictates his medical documents. Remember how the other day I was saying, like, I could imagine being on Trump's security detail and he just makes the rules and you're worried that he's going to ruin your fucking life. You're going to be harassed, called deep state and a pedophile, and people are going to show up and try to kill your family. And that he probably calls the fucking shots and makes them go against their standard procedure. It's not an out for them, right? They still should do the right thing, but it's also variable in there. Now he's writing his own medical reports.
Bornstein wrote it up. He did say, he compared it to the movie Fargo, and he said it takes the truth and moves it in a different...
That's what the doctor said. A medical doctor, a fan of ivermectin.
Different direction. Think about that. Now, Bornstein tells us that he was in a car with his wife when he was on the phone with then candidate Trump in December of 2015, and he was going through with Trump what he could say and what he couldn't say. Trump was dictating what he wanted in that letter, and Bornstein was saying, okay, you can say that, you can't say that. He then came here to the office, he wrote it up, Trump's office later picked it up, he said around 4 p.m. Aaron, we have reached out to the White House, but we've not gotten a response.
All right, so that's pretty incredible in and of itself. You also now, Alex, Bornstein is saying he was, quote unquote, robbed of the president's medical files. He spoke to you particularly about this encounter. What did he tell you?
Right, so he is saying this is a raid. Bornstein is saying that he was robbed. I specifically asked him, was a crime committed? He said they stole them, referring to the president's medical files. The they in that sentence are two men under the president's employ. The first, as you mentioned, is Keith Schiller, who was the president's longtime...
I don't even remember when this happened. They stole his medical records because the doctor recommended a drug for hair loss.
Bodyguard here in New York. He then moved down to Washington with the president, worked in the White House as the head of Oval Office operations. The other person we understand is Alan Garten, who's an attorney for the Trump organization. Now, Aaron, normally when you have medical records released, you need what's called a HIPAA release. We understand from Bornstein, he told us this afternoon, that was not signed. Instead, he says these two men barged through the back door, terrified the secretary, pushed aside the patient who was in there. Now, the White House is not contesting that they took possession of these medical files, but they are saying that it was not a raid. Instead, Aaron, they're saying that this was just standard operating procedure. Aaron.
Because here are the types of medical notes that Dr. Bornstein provided for Trump. If elected, this was from 2015. And the media's like, let's him get away with it. If elected, Mr. Trump, I can state unequivocally, will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. I mean, that's so ridiculous. Like, and the last reporting from WPXI, the local Pittsburgh news network, said 11 investigates has learned that 4 Pittsburgh police officers assigned to Trump's motorcade suffered minor injuries during the shooting. The 4 motorcycle officers were part of Trump's escort to and from.
This is a weird story. Like, it's almost like they weren't assigned to it, but they volunteered to be. I don't know what the fuck happened here. They're being transferred now. This is a weird story about the motorcycle officers. Dr. J sent me that as well.
The rally in Butler. Sources tell Chief Investigator Rick Earl the officers were just feet away from Trump when the shots rang out. The 4 officers suffered minor injuries from flying debris caused by the bullets. Sources say the officers were hit with either plastic or metal fragments when the bullets struck objects nearby.
That's what it looked like Trump's wound would have been to me, but I mean, I'm especially with like no stitches and suture. I guess I should have accepted the doctor's statement. I didn't realize that was the same doctor, but if all these other people are getting hit by shrapnel, but Trump gets a clean through and through on his ear with no stitches, no sutures at all.
So the people right next to Donald Trump were not hit with the bullets. They were hit with plastic and metal fragments. And so, the question is that if an AR-15 bullet hits you in the head or hits you in the ear.
Donald Trump 100% takes Ritalin. He's on fucking ADHD medication to stay alert. It's basically legal meth, right?
It just leaves a nick where you don't need stitches. And by the way, there may be an explanation for that, but that's why in cases like this, the treating physician at Butler Memorial would come out with a statement so you can actually read it and see what's actually happening. And one of the reasons I bring this up too is because Donald Trump is,
I guess I should say Adderall. He 100% takes Vyvanse, Adderall, something to stay up. Fuck. A lot of YouTubers do.
Grifting off of this now.
I'd like to know what his dose is, though.
Trump is selling Assassination Edition sneakers, 5,000 limited stock, $299.
Dude, can you guys donate some money so I can get the Assassination Edition sneakers? I was trying to say tennis shoes. Would that be all right? Somebody send me some money so I can buy these. Each pair is numbered.
Each. He's autographed 10 of them. So if you get that, you can get the Trump signature on an Assassination Edition sneaker. This is real, and then he's going out there and making statements saying that he took a bullet. And so, okay, if you're going to say things like that, then show the medical records and let the American people see. We know with Donald Trump's tax records, when he hid those and finally they were released, he didn't pay taxes. He paid $750 in taxes. There were years where he paid $0 in income tax, $0. You pay more money in income tax than someone who claims to be a billionaire. $750, the filing fee too, by the way, in the other years. I'll show it to you right there. So we demand transparency, and we at the Midas Touch Network are going to be fearless, and we're not going to stop reporting on the red flags here and call it out. You don't have Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the Candyman, give you a personal doctor's note. He's not the right person to do that, and it raises more red flags. Tell me what you think in the comments, hit subscribe, and let's get to 3 million subscribers together.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up
I'll wear them every day.
To date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the Midas Touch newsletter at MidasTouch.com/newsletter.
Dude, that is wild. That's fucking great. Assassination Edition shoes. What? That's insane. We got one more that Dr. J will probably lie about, but she sent it. She fucking sent it. I don't care what you say. She sent it. Okay? Hold Hold on, what's this before we get there?
And he said, you're going to take a class at the Keystone Shooting Center, and the person that you were in the class with was the person that shot Donald Trump. When I went for the class, I was surprised that the class was only one other person and me. He was quite young, very quiet, seemed friendly, nice kid. So we went into the range, and each took our booths. We were right next to each other, and he had already was loaded and firing before I had gotten my gun even loaded. So I was kind of surprised at that, you know. And so I figured he was experienced, and he ended up doing better than me because on the further distances, he had shot one area so many times that it blew out a hole in the target. Towards the end of the classroom discussion, you know, we really kind of ran out of training stuff to talk about. We started talking about other things, and eventually I got into politics. He wasn't saying anything. He remained quiet. So I was kind of, you know, waiting to see what this guy would do because it was getting a little tense there, and he never said a word. He just sat there, kind of smiled, looked, and didn't say anything. So I was surprised at that, not knowing what was going to happen in the future. But even then, I was kind of like, you know, how come this guy's not saying anything, yay or nay?
So he was interviewed because he ended up taking a shooting class with who would eventually be the shooter.
I couldn't even have a conversation for the first 10 seconds because it's just stunned.
I don't think that you can be a good person and make a profit on selling Bibles.
So they asked me a few questions, you know, I told them what I knew, and they asked me, you know, if he had said anything unusual or did anything unusual, what he had with him and stuff like that. Family lost their father, wife lost her husband. You know, he was trying to protect his family. So, you know, this person not only wanted to assassinate Donald Trump, he didn't care who else he hurt along the way. It shows thinking about who I was sitting next to. If he was that deranged, who knows what he would have done inside the range if he felt like it, you know, he could have shot us. So, you know, it was disturbing, to say the least. Well, I think it would have been a complete disaster. I mean, if that would have been successful, that would have thrown the entire election into...
I wonder if anybody's ever done a study in the average lifespan of the average American, how many serial killers, or what are the chance of coming into contact with a serial killer?
Chaos. Throw the country into chaos.
The wild video. One more. Dr. J sent it.
The man in this car fled the scene after he blasted into another car.
You okay? You have your ID with you? Who hit you? Can you get out of the car? I know, buddy. Let's talk outside the car over here, okay? Can you exit the car so I can hear you? Turn it off, please. There you go. And come meet me back here.
But am I going to get trouble for somebody hitting my...
Buddy, I can't even hear you. Can you just meet me back here? What's your first name? Dakota, please come over here, okay?
No, I'm not going to because somebody hit my car.
And we'll talk about that. Please come out of the car.
I'm just...
Are the airbags out?
Hey, somebody hit my car.
Oh yeah, the curtain airbags out.
I'm just saying, I just left the golf course and somebody hit my... No,
where did that happen?
Not okay.
I'm taking your keys. Where did that happen?
That's not okay.
Where?
I would like to have my keys in my cup holder because that's not okay.
Not happening.
To take my car.
That's not happening. Step out the car, right, Dakota?
Bad.
No, that's not okay.
He was leaving the golf club and somebody hit him, so he ran because somebody hit him.
I'm saying that somebody hit my car.
Who are you on the phone with?
My car.
Who are you on the phone with?
I'm on my phone with my mother because that's not okay for you to take my keys out of my car.
I'm sure your mother would want you to step out of the car right now and be cooperative.
That's not okay because you can ask her right now and she would say that's not okay for you to take my keys out of my car.
Dakota?
Cody, put the officer online, please.
Hi, how are you?
Son, hi. My son is saying his car got hit in the parking lot where he was golfing.
Ma'am, the likelihood of that happening is very low. There's heavy front-end damage. His airbags went off. We have multiple people saying he rear-ended another car and then left the scene.
No, that's what he's saying.
Where is the other car?
The other car got rear-ended and can't move. He drove several miles before he stopped. So we're going to deal with him, and we'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, I need to know where you're at. I live in Elgin. I need to come there.
Okay, we're at Burlington Road and McDonald Road.
Okay,
Hell no. Okay, we're right here. Say if you show up, you will be arrested.
All right.
Okay. Thanks. Dakota, what really happened, man?
Somebody hit me.
Where?
I was coming just from... If I can give my phone back, I would tell you the address that I just got hit on. Because I'm literally on my way to my brother's because I'm watching his puppies.
What street did they hit you on?
Sir, I can't tell you
I'm
because
watching his
I'm on a
puppies.
golf course.
You're on a golf course?
I was on a golf course. You're not
besides
the phone because
Dakota, besides the injuries on your hands, are you okay? The fire department's here because your airbags went off.
Here's the thing. I'm upset because you're worried more about where I am, more about where somebody just hit me, where my new car was, and I'm upset.
So is there any reason on video it would look like you struck another car?
I need to speak with a supervisor because right now you're suspecting me?
Absolutely, I'm suspecting you of rear-ending another car.
No, that's not possible.
How is that not possible?
Why that's not possible? Because my car did not just get rear-ended.
Dakota, how much have you had to drink today?
I did not have any.
I can smell it. Where were we playing golf? Where were we playing golf today?
If I can get my GPS at, I will tell you.
Do you remember what town you left?
Ellsburn.
Elburn?
Elburn.
Okay. Do you have your license and insurance with you?
I do have my license. My insurance is on my phone.
Let's start with your license, and then I'll give you back your phone.
Here's the thing. I should not be pulled over right now.
Dakota, please give me your driver's license.
Here's the thing. My car got wrecked by somebody else. And you're telling me that it's my fault for somebody doing something.
You were involved in an accident. I don't want to keep going back and forth with you.
Here's the thing.
I need your driver's license.
You're blaming it on me for somebody for an accident when they do it on me.
You're driving down the road with your airbags.
And yet you're blaming it on me because somebody else wanted to do something else. That's funny how you're blaming it on me.
Where's your driver's license?
My driver's license is in my wallet right now.
Take it out of your wallet and give it to me, please.
Okay, but yet, do you have somebody that's a suspect for me?
Yep. I need your driver's license.
Do you have it?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't.
We got another person that was involved in an accident down the road from where you came.
And may I get that?
Yes.
Suspect
We'll give you all that information as soon as we get your driver's license. As soon as you give me your driver's license.
No, I need that right now so that way the insurance can know who they're contact.
Dakota, I need your driver's license or this is going to go south.
I'm not trying to make it south.
You're making it south.
No.
When one, you didn't get out of the car when I asked. Two, I've asked you how many times for your driver's license at this point.
Okay, but do I have the insurance for the other person so
we'll
that
get it.
I
need your driver's license, Dakota.
Is my mom coming on?
Yeah, they're coming out here. Was it just you today? No one else was with you in the car?
Nobody else, just me. But I need the insurance and the driver license.
You'll get an accident
of
report.
the other incident so that way
we'll get an
my
accident
insurance knows who is going with.
Are you injured at all?
I'm not injured at all, but I need the other insurance and then I need the other persons who they are contacting.
Do you want to see the paramedics while they're here?
No, I do not.
Just hold tight, Dakota.
No.
You can pull up your insurance.
Where you are? No.
We'll be back. We'll be back. That phone yet? Yeah, he's getting out. Perfect. All right, let's go outside the road.
No. This is not okay. I asked you for the other person's number and the other person's
we're working on it. That's not something that happens immediately. But Dakota, look at your car. Come here. Look at your car. Your airbags went off, dude. Why didn't you stop where this happened? Come here.
I understand where these are, but my understanding is why did the other person not stop when
what happened? You're kind of talking in circles ever since I started talking to you.
I'm not talking
Tell me exactly what happened and where it happened.
No, this is not what happened. My understanding is that I need the other person's insurance and the other person's name in order for me to push this into the insurance company because this is how it's going to go.
What happened? Describe the accident.
Describe the accident. I slammed down my brakes. This person slammed down the other brake. This person slammed my other side, as you can see.
Where?
And yet they left.
Where did this
because
happen?
you want to see what.
Where?
Okay, you want to describe where, but yet you can't find the other suspect that they're going to right now.
Where? Where did this accident happen?
Okay, as you can tell me, sir, I have my GPS, as I tell you, and from 29 minutes away, I literally left the golf course. Not even 10 minutes.
Do you know what road the accident happened on?
Yes, it happened on North Main Street.
Okay, and what road was it by?
Which is literally coming from here. As you can see, it floors up to McDonald's.
Okay, I'll be right back with you. Just try to stay by your car. You watch him. He appears highly intoxicated. All right, yeah, just touch base with me a bit. All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, these officers are telling me that I caused an accident when I rear-ended me and wanted to say that it's my fault, even though that they damaged my car. And right now, they're patrolling me as a suspect that I damaged their car. And I am not happy right now because there's another cop here, there's another cop there, and then there's somebody that pulled me over that are saying that it is my fault. I'm not taking this as accountable because it is not my fault.
Dakota.
How is it your fault? Because they're telling
Who is it?
me
I can
that
talk
it
to
is
them.
my... No,
Who is
because
it?
what you're going to do is you're going to tell them that it is my fault, and I'm not taking accountability to it.
You need to turn it down.
No, I am really mad right now because you guys are blaming it on me when the suspect is already gone and nowhere near scene.
Right now, we're conducting a traffic crash investigation.
No, you guys are deducting that it is my fault when you guys don't even have a suspect down a half a mile.
Will you?
Right now,
Are you going to cooperate with us or no?
I am mad.
Are you going to cooperate with us or no?
Am I going to cooperate? First thing first, did you catch the cop? Did you catch the person that's down there?
We have the other car.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't.
100%.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Right now, show me the license plate and address. So
Jesus Christ, they just let him run this shit.
my insurance, then that's the person that ran him.
Until you bring it down.
You understand that? You're going to put me in handcuffs? Okay, well then first thing first, I'm going to tell you that you're not going to be able to put me in handcuffs. And then I'm going to fight you with that.
You're not
first thing first,
Turn around.
you better not put me in that. No.
No. You are under arrest.
No, they're telling me that I'm under arrest and I'm not happy with this.
Give me your hand right now.
Okay, first thing first, I'm not happy with this right at all.
Give me your other hand right now.
They're really under arresting me right now. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Stop fighting, dude.
Okay, first thing first, this is federal officers did not expect this. You guys are rude for doing this. No, I'm literally going to I'm literally count you guys as the person who wanted to drag me into the grass for no reason. This is rude. This is not personal rightness, friend. And that's funny that your supervisor is talking to my dad for no reason because they want to make you guys a better person. That's fucked up. So let me talk to my dad.
Stop squirming, bro.
No, let me talk to my dad because you guys are the one that are about ready to put me in jail for no reason. And that's funny. That's funny that you guys want to put me in handcuffs, but yet you guys don't even have the suspect for my car. No, I have a right to talk to my dad. I have a right to talk to my dad. I have a right to talk to my dad. Where is my dad? Where is my dad? Let me talk to my dad.
Jesus Christ.
That's my dad. My dad is a federal wall right now. Stop. Let me talk to my dad. My phone should be right next to my dad because that is my right. Let me talk to my dad. That's up. Let me talk to my dad. And you guys are pulling my hair for no reason. Let me talk to my dad.
We'll talk to him when we get you over the car.
No, let me talk to my dad right now.
It's not happening.
You guys are literally right next to the police officer.
Just walk.
No, you guys should let me talk to my dad right now. This is funny. Right now. This is funny. You guys are f***ing funny. That is what I should be able to. No.
Stand up.
No. You guys are literally doing this to me.
Stand up, dude.
Oh, yeah. What you're doing.
You good, Murph? Yeah. Hello, this is Detective Benson with the Sheriff's Office. Is this Dakota's mother? All right, well, I was just following up with you. Dakota is under arrest for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident.
Damn, they're super nice, dude. They're super nice, this dude.
He rear-ended another car. His airbags went off. He went into the ditch. He backed out. He drove for probably close to 4 or 5 miles with all of his side airbags off, and then pulled over when I found him and initiated a traffic stop on him. He's okay. He doesn't want to see the ambulance, but his car is wrecked. No, there's absolutely no damage in the back. He rear-ended another car. He plowed into it. Depending on if he cooperates, which he's not right now, he could get out. They don't accept bond after 10:30. If he doesn't cooperate and stalls the process, like the booking process and the arrest process, he'll have to wait till tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's totaled. I'm not an adjuster, but side airbags went off, front airbags went off, heavy front end damage. I would say the insurance company's probably going to total this car. There's severe damage to a minivan that he rear-ended, but that's it. Yeah, no problem. Have a good one. Bye.
Him down?
He's not cooperating, but he's already on his way to the jail. He called someone. I think it was his brother or a buddy that he might have been playing with. That person sounded intoxicated and kind of spun him up, and that's when it went sideways for him.
Oh, I know exactly who the that is. Okay, can I ask, do you know what his bond will be? Can I come get him now?
You can't now. He likely won't be ready. If he cooperates, he likely won't be ready until 9 o'clock. If he's cooperative at the jail, they'll let him call you. They don't want him there, They'll want someone to come pick him up. So if you just give it maybe 30 to 40 minutes and see what happens, okay?
Okay, and I have to ask this as a mother to a son. Can I speak to my child?
I'm just not with him right now. I'm still with his car that he crashed. He's already going to the jail. So unfortunately, you can't. But within the next hour or so, I can arrange for him to call you, okay?
Do me a favor. Tell him I said to cooperate, please.
Okay, we will.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Dakota was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol, resisting, obstructing, and leaving the scene of an accident. He is innocent.
As a mother, can I talk to his son?
Until proven guilty in a court of law.
Wow. That was pretty rough. All right, last thing. I'm going to describe a movie to you, and I've been looking for it I talked about it before for a couple weeks, and I can't remember everything about it. Now, remember, I've got PTSD, and my memory is all fucked up, and sometimes it combines things that don't exist. Sometimes I dream things that don't exist, so keep that in mind. There is a movie, and it follows a journalist and a guy who, like a weird guy that's kind of that has a van. Okay, he's kind of like a weird conspiracy guy. He has a van. He worships a guy like Alex Jones. The guy in the van worships like a guy like Alex Jones, sort of. And somehow he ends up with this reporter because she gets outed, and there's like people trying to get to her or whatever, and he kind of rescues her. I don't remember what comes out about her, but he kind of rescues her and brings her out, and they may have had a relationship short in the past. She finds out that he kind of worships this conspiracy theory guy, and they start traveling together. At one point, they're driving down the road in his van, and there's like people on the side of the road, and he decides to stop and help them and gets mugged, and he ends up having to kill him But he's like freaking out about it because he acts like this like hardcore fucking like gun nut, but he ends up having to kill him and like freaks out about it. They hide the bodies. Anyways, the very end of the movie ends like this. The guy ends up meeting his hero, conspiracy theory guy, like an Alex Jones character, kills him. Ends up going to prison for it or whatever, finds out it's all fake. The woman who is like the media person, like the journalist, she ends up taking that position. And that's like the last scene of the movie. When the Alex Jones style show like fires up, and instead of the guy that she killed that usually ran it, that got killed, it's her. And she's the one now making all the movie, making all the money from being a conspiracy theorist person. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. May have made that up and changed it some, but what is that movie? Because I thought about it a few weeks ago when we talked about it, and I couldn't describe it as well. But that's the name. That's how the movie goes, I think. I have no idea. Anybody got any idea? What the fuck was that movie? Oh, Schlit. Are you saying, hey, Easy Jack? Easy Jack. Anybody got any idea? If you figure it out, let me know in the comments. It was I do not do actors' names. And I feel like it was like a low-budget film. But the reason I watched it is because I was researching something else about like conspiracy theories and something, and someone recommended it. But it seemed like a low-budget thing that didn't have like famous people in it. Not really old. I mean, maybe it come out in like the last 10 years. I'm not good with that type of stuff. Actors or dates or director, none of that. I can't remember what the name of the movie was. People were suggesting different movies to it, and I've been looking it up. I know there's a movie called Cuck, where the guy's like a super weird alt-right online guy. That's not it. That guy does something, has a threesome or becomes a cuck or whatever, gets outed. That's not it. But I can't remember the octopus movie. No, that's what comes up when I fucking search for it, though. Whenever I search for, like, put in keywords, the octopus movie always comes up. It's not going to be just typing shit into Google. I've tried that. I don't even know why that comes up, because when I type in the octopus movie, I don't even know why that one comes up. It doesn't even sound like what I'm describing. But it pops up when I do the same thing, when I type the shit into Google. If you have any idea, or if you see this on replay and you know what it is, let me know. Because it wasn't a bad movie. It was like a twist. Like, she didn't believe in the conspiracy stuff. He did. Like, the journalist didn't believe any, but the guy she was driving with did. They ended up getting mugged. He ends up killing them, whatever. And then it twists because she sees all the money and fame and stuff that comes from the conspiracy thing. So she becomes a conspiracy theorist journalist and has him kill the guy that was, like, the Alex Jones character gets killed. He goes to jail, or maybe he kills himself. I don't know. But she becomes a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, they're driving down the road in his van. They get mugged. He ends up killing the guy. Or maybe she ends up shooting with his gun. They end up killing the guy, but they freak out about it. I'm trying to think of any other parts of the movie. I know he has a van, and the very first part of the movie is I think he's obsessed. He's like in love with this journalist, and he like watches her all the time or something. And then he like watches her all the time. Is it Pizzagate? Is that what it's about? I don't know. But he like watches her all the time, and then she gets outed as something. There's like people like screaming and yelling at her, and grabs her. I just said it's not the octopus murders. Like less than 5 minutes ago, like 2.5 minutes ago. But yeah, I think they're attacking her, and he runs in and saves her, and that's how he gets a chance to like talk to her. I don't know. It's hard to tell where I watch it. I watch a bunch of free movies that I steal. Let's try this. Hold on. I definitely have a screenshot. So it's not the Pizzagate Massacre. Oh, is it? Let me see if this is it. Is that why I watched it? Because it said Pizzagate in it?
Believe in lizard people.
I was down a rabbit hole, and that's how I found out.
It's hard to believe that they're keeping kids in a basement.
You came marching into a public forum tonight proposing open war against a technologically...
This is it. This is it. Thank you very much, Rob P. The Pizzagate Massacre. The Pizzagate Massacre.
Ancient reptilian stronghold.
This is it.
It looks suspicious.
There's him yelling with the people that are attacking her.
Hey, I think you should leave your camera behind. It looks suspicious.
If we even live to see this footage, it'll be bigger than you or me.
All right. But I'll have to prove the final cut before it's released to theaters. I think I'm a racist or something.
I don't know, are you?
Tell me about the militia.
I need someone like you to help me with the tactical side.
So this is actually a good movie. Thank you guys for helping me find it. This is actually a good movie. Go watch it. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I'm really fucked up in the head and found it in a weird way and did weird shit. So it is called The Pizzagate Massacre from 2021, and it's a pretty good movie. I'm sorry I gave away the ending, but I didn't know how else to describe it, really. I was trying to find the Alex Jones-like character.
You're not scared, then you're asleep.
Anyways, check it out. I don't know where it's streaming at. I guess I can look before I go. I probably watched it on one of those free movie sites. Like, there's a bunch of different ones. It's a free view with ads on Amazon Prime Video or whatever they call it. Through Freevee with ads. Free with ads on Amazon. So there you go. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Weird job helping me find the movie. Thank you, Rob P. I appreciate it. And Legend for the screenshot that doesn't exist and never has. Thanks for leading me along to describe it a little bit more. We'll see everybody on the next one. So please support the show while we're offline. I'm trying to get back to, I just made the part. There's actually linear bearings installing this for the other channel, for the other stuff I want to put together. I got to do a strength test on this. So I'll probably record that and release it to Patreon only, like a behind the scenes thing, and then maybe put clips of it. I got to see how strong this is before I end up killing myself, because it's going to have a blade attached to it, and it's going to have tension on it, and I don't know how strong these little rings are on the side. So I'll probably make some content around that this week. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll see you everybody in the next one. Have a good night. Love to see you. Bye.
But I can tell you,
I'm excited to get the other channel launched. I get depressed and like put stuff off, and I'm like, fuck it, I can do that some other time. But right now, I'm excited about that. I haven't been feeling good today, though. That's why I didn't work on it much today. I had some stomach cramps that literally had me like fucking doubled over, and I don't know where they come from or where they went. Like, I didn't need to shit or anything. I was just fucking cramped. I don't know. It's weird. My first period or something.
It's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go.
Yeah, Legend. We know. We know. Even after you scrubbed your hard drives, after you killed Austin, you still have 10 freaking T-bytes of screenshots.
And they say that I'm a lunatic.
What are you, Phil's tech guy?
I'm equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord and to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that.
This is how I know I speed up videos too much when I watch them.
What's next?
I was just sitting here thinking, just randomly thinking, reading something, thinking, man, this song's taking a long time. I should speed it up. It's the outro song.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Support the show, you assholes. Bunch of freeloaders sitting around here just absorbing all the content, not paying for shit. Oh, you steal cable too?
Seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high.
Get the fuck out of here.
Myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16, high on amphetamine with Trump in between.